Just walk out of it with a single W from the Legion Commander. Literally not a problem.
And he
Ridiculous.
has it on exactly on the 20-minute mark. It's
Yeah, it's just way too good. Like, you just countered two of the heroes just completely. Toronto Tokyo zipping forward, looking for a target. Tiger going to drop down the ultimate, at least force out the BKB at the very least as they bring down Misha. And immediately the troll is looking for more. Oh no, sorry, that's Legion Commander looking for more. Linking past the tower.
So Taiga actually survives just because Toronto Tokyo zips on top of him at the same time that Miposhka uses Bushwhack. So the zip kills all the trees, a little bit of anti-synergy there.
I see.
Yeah, there was no stun just because of it. He almost died to the right-click damage, but still, yeah, got saved by the friendly Storm Spirit.
Thanks, Storm. Yeah, surviving, but not exactly thriving. Poor old Tiger. Pretty damn poor this game. But not as poor as the Snapfire, actually. The Snapfire's the one who's really, really struggling. Poor old Misha.
Yeah, Misha getting some fluffy hats, you know, you have to work with what you've got. Just tank up a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Just get that budget health where you can. Might help you survive.
I have to say, I love the optimism from Taiga, though. I love the Aghanim Shard and the Aghanims and the Yules queued up.
Because that was all... Oh my god. You know, you can't blame a guy for having dreams. I've always said that. Oh, it's tempting, it's tempting. Legion Commander, she can't help herself. There is a Mars nearby, but he's not going to get there nearly in time. That is too much damage coming out of Collapse. I don't know how much dual damage there is right now, but they found the Void Spirit down in the bottom lane. He has got the Yules. Will he survive this one? I don't think so. Well timed from Miposhka to bring down the Void Spirit. Meanwhile, Amar on the run of the top lane. They don't have any more catch for him, though. Jules on cooldown, so for now, he will get back.
Under attack. Stupid. Brave, but stupid.
One pick-off after another. Is there any, like... Give me your optimism, give me your copium, your UK copium. How do they come back? What's the play here?
I think their chance of them coming back is similar to a UK player making it to TI, unfortunately. But I still believe, you know, ITB, the boys down in Division 2, I believe. Same way, you know, we could believe in OG here, but it's got to take some spectacular team play and some spectacular sloppiness from Team Spirit in order for them to get rid of this game. Because, I mean, look at the heroes they've got. They've got a Troll with a Battle Fury. They've got a Legion Commander who's already got ridiculous amount of dual damage. It's going to be a really, really tough game for OG to turn around. But they have good team fight, right? They do have good team fight. Maybe Team Spirit overextend, mess up, give OG the chance to maybe get like an Aghanims on their Disruptor or something. But it's still a long way away.
Yeah, the way I look at it is it's Team Spirit's game to win or lose, right? If they throw it, then OG can make a small comeback. The problem is, like, you're playing versus... I reiterate it again. You can't even split push that easily, right? You can't really skip waves and whatnot because you're playing versus all these heroes that can get on top of you. So buying time for yourself is difficult. If you do manage to buy enough time for Disruptor, like, he has a Philly Stone, so in about an hour and a half, if he AFKs, he's gonna have a full Aghanims.
Nice. Sweet passive income everyone keeps telling me about on Twitter.
That's it. He invested in the future. So if they do get there, then perhaps you can make a couple of plays. It's possible, very unlikely.
Stupendous.
Would you rather take 1,000,000 gold now or one Philosopher's Stone? The answer is the Philosopher's Stone. As they jump in here, Yatoro, he's just marching up that high ground. He doesn't care. Jump in for Misha straight on the bat. Chasing him all the way through the team fight with the help of Toronto Tokyo. They will bring him down. That'll be the first kill of the fight. And OG are just trying to scatter. They are not interested. Tiger hiding in the trees. But I mean, you can't even call it hiding. It is just a little bit awkward here as they find the Mars as well. Another hero likely going to go down here as they just take down the big boy. Meanwhile, Yuragi falls as well. Oh my goodness. It is just absolute desolation. And the GGs are called. Yeah, you ain't coming back from that one.
Yeah, I'm
XD.
Can XD? Would you agree that we kind of saw this happening from the tier 1 on the bottom lane when they couldn't take it?
Yeah.
Toronto Tokyo just wrote sorry for this, guys.
Apologizing in the all chat. All right.
Yeah, it's because they were late to the game. That's why. That's 100% the reason. They won't BM. They're not like that. They're kind, nice boys.
I see.
Yeah, the game was rough. The laning stage went so poorly for them. You basically lost all 3 lanes. If you lose all 3 lanes, it's very difficult to play the game. It's as simple as that. Like, you can put all your strategies aside. If you lose bottom, if you lose top, and your Storm Spirit is like 20, 30 CS ahead, it's, you know, it's impossible to play. Plus, those plays that they did make afterwards weren't on point, because I feel like OG didn't realize how far behind they actually are. They constantly try to make these moves, like with 1 or 2 heroes, with TA being on the top lane, with Void Spirit trying to make a move on his own. But you're behind, plus you're playing versus an IO. The relocate help is always there. The tier 1 on the bottom lane pretty much never fell for the first, 15, 20 minutes, and you need to take it as soon as possible. That they crumbled. The triangle was the only place where the TA could farm.
Yeah, and it's a great point you make, because when you are behind that badly, your usual go-to players just shove the waves out. That is how you buy yourself time. Just shove them waves, force them to go and deal with something, make an issue out of just killing creeps. It's a tale as old as time, but this game you just cannot do that. OG, they didn't have a counterplay. It just went wrong straight from the get-go. Unfortunately, nothing went OG's way from the laning phase. Hopefully, they come back to game number 2 with a better plan. We shall see. Otherwise, it's going to be a very quick series indeed. Can the OG guys find their flower power and come back in game number 2, or is it going to be Team Spirit all the way home? We'll find out after this short break.
Well, Team Spirit just stomped OG like they were grapes in a French winery. And I think when we see a shellacking like that, it's difficult to do any proper analysis. So, B-Cop, why don't you just say how that game made you feel with a sound?
Yeah, that's the sound.
Back, have you got a better sound?
Wow.
No, seriously, tell me what went wrong for that game in OG. Was it just the lanes? Was there anything else that didn't happen as expected?
Yeah, I mean, you pick TA to win the lane and kind of snowball from there. Same as Mars and Snapfire, but they didn't even lane that way. Like the way they laned, I thought was a little bit awkward. Of course, they wanted to dodge the Legion Commander against the Slapter matchup because you can purge off the Thunder Strike. But yeah, what can I say? Team Spirit is too good. Like he got to 100 health at level 1 when he walked up the hill, and then Miposhka also went down to like 50 health. Bottom lane started with like minus 1200 health basically, and they still won the lane. Like mid lane got absolutely dominated. Like Toronto Tokyo crushed him, and same thing top. I think they killed him 4 times. It's just Spirit is just too good fundamentally. Like their lanes, of course, are very solid, but I don't think at all that OG was outpicked.
Is that an example of high laning skill, or is it OG messing up? Let's try and drill a little into what went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, usually when this kind of thing happens, it's a little bit of both. Like, you definitely have to make mistakes for the enemy to be allowed to recover like that after basically having to use 3 healing salves for free, right? And mid lane, I mean, Storm against Void Spirit is just a 50-50 skill matchup. Like, if you fall behind just a little bit, sometimes it can just turn out to be that way. And top lane, I think they underestimated just the IO Legion lane, because they kept trying to fight back, and then Legion killed them like 3 or 4 times. And of course, he has this like super early phase boots. There's no coming back from that.
It's worth noting there, if you look at the scores, the Team Spirit cores have them between them just 1 death, 6 deaths on the supports. It's pretty impressive, isn't it, B-Cop? Even in a stomp like that, to retain that level of discipline.
Yeah, it was pretty clean, and especially because OG kept trying to bring the fight to them. You'd expect like what they'd lose the core more than once, but that's Team Spirit just literally playing as clean as it gets, and that I think the aggression also is what kind of really hurt OG. There was a point where it just felt like they were trying to like make up the deficit by fighting, and it just, you lose those fights a couple times in a row, the deficit just becomes too overwhelming, and then you lose the map, and ultimately you lose the game.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, the draft of Spirit, in my opinion, is a complete counter to how OG likes to play. So whether that turned out to just happen by chance, or whether they actively really prepared for this sort of draft, like, you could really see how OG's playstyle gets punished by this. Like, they like to farm individually here and there. Dual top, relocate that. Storm picks off solo bottom, that. Like, they just died solo here and there. And then when they actually smoked up at 5, they were already like 10k behind or so.
Yeah.
Are there any bright spots at all for OG? Because it's good to be negative about a team when they perform badly, but is there anything they can take that they did well in this game into game 2?
It's definitely a little tough. I think it's definitely feeling like one of those games where you have to just be like, all right, that was a loss. That would, it might be a tough pill to swallow, but like, you're a good team. They've performed well in the past. Like, I don't know. I just gotta hope that it's one of those games that doesn't get in their head too much and they can bounce back from it.
Yeah, this kind of game is just going to move on, right? Like, it happens to everybody, I'm sure. I mean, it happened to Team Spirit at TI as well. You're really just going to move on. Sometimes you just have a bad game. You're much better than that.
So what sort of stuff would you like them to pick up in this coming game? Is it a case of, I mean, they had strong lanes there. Is it a case of stronger lanes, or do they need to lean into something else?
I think they just need to minimize their laning mistakes, because a team like OG is very dependent on a good lane. Like, the way they like to play is like farming on all 3 cores a lot is really dependent on winning at least 2 lanes. So they really just gotta make sure that they minimize the laning errors they had this game, because they were a lot, unfortunately.
Big up, any thoughts?
I think you just got to pick up and try and do something different. And I'm wondering if like OG is going to try and like mix it up completely, because that was for the most part, a pretty standard draft from them. Like, now am I wondering if we get to see like that off-lane Faceless Void again? Get to see something different where they're going to try and pull a rabbit out of the hat, and like, because like Black said, Team Spirit looked really ready for this kind of lineup. And now does OG have to pull something out of those TI strats that they're totally saving, and get in something different and maybe bring something a little bit different to Spirit to kind of catch them off guard.
Do you want them to change their draft or their bans mostly?
Kind of both. I'd like to make them. I'd like to see OG make them feel a little bit more uncomfortable in the draft, but it feels like that's almost impossible. Spirit plays so many heroes on all their different positions that it's like you could ban, like they banned Miposhka on the Weaver as well as the Bane, but he's still doing well on a hero that he really doesn't like showcase that much, and it's just like, oh well, you know, he plays this well, he plays that well. What do we do? There's only so many bans in one draft, and there's already people in chat who think there's too many bans in the draft.
There's so much flexibility on Team Spirit as well, because we
Yeah.
talk a lot at TI and post TI. People have been talking about, oh, maybe you just ban out Collapse because he's only got maybe 4 heroes. But now in this early tournament, he's already seen 2 new heroes we didn't see him play so much at TI that he's been absolutely dominant on. And if you spend all your energy banning out Collapse, then you've got your Toro with this gigantic hero pool. You can play off any outcome, any drafting outcome. And the other players as well are hardly slouches in their flexibility. So I think they're really showing a degree of how difficult it is to ban against them. If you were playing against them professionally, Black, what sort of tack would you now take to do? Do you know?
Honestly, this is kind of the point where Spirit just looks pretty like unbeatable. You know, all of them, they love anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened at TI, they actually had a pretty just okay group stage, but after the group stage, they like leveled up. Like I don't even know how to explain what they did. It's like they went to the hyperbolic time chamber and came out as like new people, you know? A team that believes in anime and likes anime. Like, what do you do against the protagonist that's just OP like that? Can't do anything.
It's got to be something. They're going to get sick at some point. We've got a draft coming up very, very shortly. What would you like? I mean, obviously, what you'd like to see from Team Spirit is a more dominant display, another impressive performance. Just for them to flare around, what would you like to see them do and flare on, Black?
I mean, so now they played 3 games. All 3 games were completely dominant and one-sided. So just to make it a little bit more exciting for the audience, I would like them to just like sprinkle in like a throw here and there. Like maybe just dive a little bit too deep, you know, explore your limits. Or like rather, you know that is your limit, but like go a little bit beyond. Like, it didn't work out. No, but like maybe really just, I mean, there's no reason for them to change anything because everything is just so flawless. It's like it's crazy to really look at it from a observer point of view. They make so little mistakes. It's actually insane.
Jacob, how about you? Anything you'd like to see them do? Like to see them flex on?
I'm gonna open up my notes from chat, and I'd like to see Spirit be even more dominant, get the Brazil scoreline again. One person said OG just get good. That's not really a Spirit thing, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe
have
they
to
could
see.
do some OG coaching in between the games, really pep them up.
Wow, that
see
would
how
be
goes.
really intense. The only time I've ever seen that was in a UFC fight. You had Max Holloway teaching in the middle of a fight, 3rd round, how to throw a 1-2 cross. If Team Spirit just start all chatting, hey, your positioning should be this in the middle of the game, I would love it. I'd be so down.
I mean, to be fair, they did just all chat an XD.
Be the most friendly BM ever, like really helpful BM, where someone's really patronizing you. You're like, you're being really nice, but please piss off, Jesus.
We are about to dive you. Be ready. And they
Be
really dive
ready,
you.
we're coming. We'll pause a bit, let you get ready.
They would be so bad-mannered, man. Like imagine we're gonna dive you at 9:30 mid lane, and you really do it. You got like a team wipe.
I'd love it.
How do you
Okay,
recover
well-
from that mentally?
I don't think you do.
10
I think that's
seconds
a
remaining.
disband moment. OG are going to be picking up the Weaver first pick. I assume that's a
seconds
Tiger pickup. Did you say it, Black?
Yeah, Tiger loves his Weaver. We've seen him have very dominant performances on that many times. And Miposhka Bane collapse OD.
So
That
it's-
looks pretty damn scary already.
It's a scary one too. That. What's he been doing on the? Some people might not have seen the collapse OD. What's he been doing on it that's made it so effective?
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, the build is pretty standard nowadays. You just go Meteor Hammer and then Blink
5
Axe or Axe
seconds
Blink
remaining.
to have the like double Astral. But what makes it so strong is you have your Meteor Hammer at like minute 6. and you just start pressuring the tower. And if you don't respond within 1.5 or 2 minutes, the tower's just gone. Your map shrinks tremendously, and OD also scales so well into the mid late game, right? He deals so much damage. He offers like double save. He can build into disable items with the hex later on. Like the hero is really, well, underrated is not really fair to say, because I think a lot of teams are starting to pick it up very early. But like he's really, really strong.
What do you do against it? Have you seen anyone do well against this style of OD, and what have they done?
You gotta pick a hero that can easily stun him and punish him when he's casting his Meteor Hammer in the early game. Like when you kill him 2 or 3 times in the early game, because you exploit the fact that he's pretty immobile, then you can make his game hard. Because he doesn't really flash farm or anything, he really thrives upon having a good laning phase and then snowballing from there.
Is there always going to be a collapse pick here? Can they play it? You can play it mid lane, obviously, but would they?
Night Stalker.
I think it's just, it feels so much better in the offlane right now. Right? Like there's better options to pick over mid.
Yeah. That being said, though, OD middle is also an absolute lane destroyer. Like there's very few heroes that can actually lane against him comfortably, which is what makes the hero so strong right now. You don't actually know if he's going to go middle or offlane. From these 2 picks, you have no idea.
OG picking up that Night Stalker, presumably an offlane pick, although it's not one that Almar's played very frequently. Can you play NS in any other position? They could playing it carry maybe at a push.
Fata played it as 5, and 9 played it as a mid. So there are options, but I think only those really adventurous players are willing to go with that. So I don't know. I mean, OG is definitely a team that would come to mind, but I don't know if they will do that.
Okay, Team Spirit banning out that Invoker for the long-range Tornado onto the OD. And OG banning out a couple of carry heroes, most likely in the Kunkka, obviously a bit of a flexy one, and the Luna as well. What do you want to see these 2 teams ban out in this phase, Beacop?
Oof, man, you've already got Collapse having his hero here for Spirit. Like, I think OG definitely need to focus banning the mid heroes, try and take those out. But I feel like that's also tough. Like, even if you ban mid heroes, like you said, Black, they could throw OD mid and just get another offlaner.
Yeah.
I wonder if is it worth focusing the mid, or just because they've done Luna and the Kunkka on OG, you just ban another carry and try to find the proper matchup.
I like that idea that they're trying to sort of secure the Night Stalker, because an early Night Stalker pick like that is very exploitable, right? And Bane is a very strong laner. Like if you pick Bane plus 1 more strong carry and you ruin the Night Stalker's game before the first night even, that can be a really, really big problem. Because pretty much just the same as OD, as a Night Stalker, you don't really have a comeback mechanic. Like if you lose lane, you can't just go back to jungle and farm.
10
Tricky
seconds
one.
remaining.
Team Spirit banning out those mid lanes. Toronto Tokyo's hero pool
5
being
seconds
gradually
remaining.
diminished. Is there anything you'd like to see him on here? What would you ban out if you were the final mid lane ban for Spirit?
Wow, tough. Toronto Tokyo has so many. Like he loves his Void Spirit. They banned a Bad Rider actually. Oh, interesting. Night Stalker and Weaver are pretty good against Bad Rider. So maybe they're expecting something more unconventional from Team Spirit.
Well, what would be the unconventional expectation that requires a Bat Rider ban?
It's a good question, because it would have to be a mid Bad Rider, and you would definitely be able to answer that. So
5 seconds.
a little bit of an interesting ban. Doesn't strike me as like super strong here, but maybe they would just want to have like a filler ban. We call that like a ban, but not actually a ban.
Yeah, they're less sure. You know, why not? Chuck it
Yeah.
out there. Team Spirit banning out the Puck and picking up the Monkey King for your Toro, I should assume.
Yeah.
Do you like that, Black?
Yeah, like it goes very much in line with what I wanted them to do earlier. It's just pick a very strong lane against Night Stalker and crush him in lane. If it's really a Bane Monkey, this Night Stalker is not going to have a lot of fun. Like he is going to suffer before the first laning phase. Before the first night phase, sorry.
It's a scary lane, the Bunky lane. How do you react to that if you're OG?
OG's turn to pick.
With a quad,
Queen of
apparently.
Apparently, that sounds like you don't like it.
I mean, it could be a mid quap. It could also be like no, it has to be mid quap, right?
No one plays carry quap, do they? I mean, some people play
No.
4 quap, but they have a 4.
Atizi does, but he's not playing. It could be like some sort of 4 quap, which is very strong against Monkey King, perhaps.
Or the Weaver
Pretty early
5.
quap pick, though. Yeah, on Weaver 5.
Misha doesn't play
Oh.
a huge amount of Weaver. Oh, sorry.
Or they
yeah,
could
Misha.
really just put the quap in the off lane to have a good matchup against the Monkey King, and then put the Night Stalker somewhere else.
Night Stalker needs a good lane, right? Because he's trying to get into that first night without really losing too much, and
Lion.
now Lion. So that looks well. I like Lion more 4 than 5. I guess that's my own bias. I would like Lion 4 and then Weaver 5 in this situation.
I'd agree. I think Lion 4 has a lot more potential. Get that fast blink, pick off potential. That being said, though, there's a lot of save on the Spirit side. You have the Nightmare, the defensive Astrals. It's not going to be easy to find any pick off.
What do they need to top up this draft, OG? Then what are the signs pointing towards?
OG, they're definitely. That's why I picked the Quap. Also, they're definitely lacking damage.
Mhm.
Like Weaver, Night Stalker, and Lion are not a lot of damage early on. Like they kind of transition to the mid game, start getting a lot of damage post Vessel on the Weaver. So they definitely need a carry. If it's not a carry Night Stalker, that deals a lot of damage.
Who deals a lot of
Like a
damage?
Drow Ranger or so. Yeah, really just a DPS focused carry. They got a lot of stuns, a lot of control. Now they're lacking the damage department.
Mhm. Do you think they have enough protection for a Drow? Because I think that OD and the Monkey can get on the Drow pretty effectively.
Yeah, I mean, they do have Night Stalker, who always plays on the Vision Advantage, of course, and the Weaver, that kind of does the same thing, but it would be a pretty risky draw pick.
I go Dark
Dark
Willow.
Willow.
Gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, I really am worried for OG's laning phase and what they're gonna do early on in this game. Spirit feels
This
so
OD
strong.
Willow is so strong, too.
Yeah.
You get Astral, they put the root on top of you, then you get Orb Paris, double range. Whatever carry you pick, it better be a range hero, because I don't think you're going to be very happy as a melee hero here.
Yeah, stepping up into that lane is going to be super difficult against that duo. And it just feels like the side lanes right now for Spirit feel pretty secure.
What's the
Yeah,
cherry
that-
on top for Spirit then that OG are going to look to snatch away?
Well, I thought it was going to be Ember or Void, so we'll
Mhm.
see if they ban both of them. Ember already being banned out, of course. And if they do ban both, Puck is already out. Like the mid pool is pretty limited at this point. You could pick something like a Death Prophet. I could just frontline and give information to your OD and Monkey King potentially. Or Toronto Tokyo also likes his Lina. A little bit risky against Night Stalker and Quap though.
Still TA as well. He likes. They're still tiny, maybe tiny, but probably doesn't fit for me.
Yeah, it's gonna, or maybe he's gonna surprise us with a new one, and just go random Brood Mother. Why not?
You
Inch
never know.
Apparition mid.
The Denny
Really styling.
classic.
I'd be hyped for it. I'm a little shocked that they banned the PA because we were just talking about how you really want a range safe laner.
It's damage though, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah, it's a pure DPS focused. Yeah, like if for some reason the lane goes wrong and PA gets a good game, that is one of those heroes that can really just destroy your lineup.
OG banning
especially
out
just-
the Wind Ranger, suggesting they are somewhat comfortable with the Void Spirit, although to me this doesn't look like a very comfortable draft either way. So we'll see.
5 seconds remaining.
Last Spirit ban coming out. Any snap predictions
Yeah.
back? Get
I
into
mean-
his head.
Turn to pick.
SF.
Ooh.
SF.
Well,
What's
it
that
also
range
goes in line
damage?
with the, sort of like the Drow idea,
Mhm.
just a pure DPS range backliner. And well, now what do you pick? Yeah, there's Medusa, there's Drow Ranger. Medusa doesn't deal the most damage.
I think it's going to be the Drow for me.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, also the Arcana, of course. That would make even more sense.
5 seconds remaining.
You've got to try it
Why
out.
not
Gives
show
you
it
an extra
off?
10% power.
Yeah, it's just whatever you pick is gonna be so difficult, regardless. Like that lane is just absurd.
Team Spirits turn to pick.
Templar
It's a
Assassin.
TA again.
Do you like it?
It's pretty rough against Odie because every AWP attack, like, removes 2 of the reflection charges. It's a separate instance. So, and Dark Willow is not weak against TA either, right? There's a lot of little instances from her ult.
10 seconds remaining.
I think it felt more like they were forced into something like this, and they weren't very comfortable with the draw
5
idea
seconds
because it's not very
remaining.
protected. But it makes sense. It's a hero they need. It's just, it's gonna be hard regardless. Now Spirit. Are they just gonna go Void Spirit? Cookie Cutter. Underlord.
Yeah, they might expect the TA to go mid, and they just want to follow the OD with the TA or wherever the TA goes.
So it's a mid OD then against the Quap, which makes a lot of sense. But it makes the top lane a little easier for the TA, I'd say. So yeah, I mean, I like the Underlord last pick. It gives them what they needed, like a frontliner. Here they can really give information, tank up, build all the tanky items, like Atos, Mac, Pipe if they need it. Makes a lot of sense. I liked it a lot.
OG still discussing who's going to take which. They might do a little bit of a switcheroo here.
Yeah, which generally I don't really think that's a good sign, you know? Like if you change something so last minute, it can really backfire. Like you usually want to go into the end of a draft and be like, so it's a mid TA now, so they adjusted.
Yeah.
Carry Quap.
Yeah. BZM picking up that mid TA. Any predictions, Beacop?
I gotta go Spirit. They were ready with the OD. I'm a little surprised that they went with the TA at the end of the day, and then especially they're just willing to lane it up against the OD. I think that is going to be, again, this is another game where it's super reliant that OG do well in the lanes, and it could really collapse if they don't. So yeah, it just feels like it's going to be all Spirit again.
Black, what can OG do to turn the tide here?
Yeah, I think, as Bicop alluded to, it's very important that the Night Stalker doesn't get completely shut down, which is going to be hard against Bane Monkey. Like, that lane is so ridiculously hard. And then the only silver lining I have for them is that the Quap should, in theory, have a very good lane against the Underlord. So that should go well for them. But then TA is going to have a lot of problems against the OD. Your bot lane is more likely they're not going to get pretty destroyed as well. And we have seen what happened last time when Spirit gets off to a good, out of a good laning phase. So I got to go with Spirit as well. But I'm always happy to be surprised by OG.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can OG weave a victory in this game 2, or will the Spirit train continue choo-choo as we go into game 2 with Nomad and Lizard?
Thank you very much, Dan and the gang. Yeah, that's right. We've got game number 2 on the way, and these lanes could be looking a little bit difficult for OG. Lizard, do you share the sentiment of your fellow analysts?
It's hard not to after the first game, right? You tend to be biased towards a team that had like 20-2 score line. But if you remember old days of Liquid when Taiga was still in that team, they would switch things around a little bit. If Boxy is having a really tough lane, they would put Taiga on that position 3, and Boxy would be the real 4. Maybe this is something that they might consider here with Amar. I don't like position 4 Night Stalker that much, but when you're playing versus a Monkey King, that's usually what teams do, right? They switch things. Nisha?
Yeah, he's I don't think he's living through this one. I'll just say that. Goodbye, little lion man. You're not as brave.
So they hit them with what OG did to them, right? Like, it's a bit of a revenge. OG, however, they didn't manage to get first blood in that last game in this manner, but they did punish them quite heavily.
Yep. So, you know, the old monkey see, monkey do from Team Spirit, and they do get their Dark Willow, the first blood there. So, let's find out how this one breaks down. We have got Tiger playing the Weaver, a hero who's pretty damn comfortable on, to be honest. Could be in some trouble here, though. Still 5 seconds until that Sakuchi. I don't think they have enough damage to bring him down, though. Nightmare comes out.
But there's no damage. She also could shield away.
Yeah. They're committing, though. The sentry's down, but yeah, Tiger... Oh, and they left the bounty rune. How lovely.
He needs to go base, though, right? Will he? It looks like he won't. He actually ate that one extra tango, and he's going top because they're starting as a trial lane.
Interesting. So, you talked about switching it up. Well, this is one way to do it. 3 heroes in the top lane. That is definitely not what we were expecting from OG.
You can see that Team Spirit is kinda expecting this. That's why they didn't start laning instantly with their cores. Underlord and Monkey will switch things around, and this Okuchi should...
Yeah, Tiger's got him.
There's a Fairy Fire as well, but he should still get him, I think.
Oh, tried to go for the body blocks. No, didn't make the body blocks. Therefore, Mira will get away, but still bullied out of lane for a time being. But there's both supports committed to... Oh,
maybe
hello.
Now?
Mira, not again. Oh, Tiger, one more hit. It will be enough. I mean, that's kind of ideal circumstance, right? You've removed that Dark Willow from the lane for such a long time.
Yeah, you removed her from the lane. I always come back to the fact that she will TP in with a lot of regen now. Has that free TP as well, so that helps. But I'm surprised that they're tri-laning top. I guess you can't help the Night Stalker, and this is another way of approaching this situation. Like, dual lane or solo lane, it's all the same for the Night Stalker. He's not gonna get a lot. So just
guy.
focusing on your strengths might be the better thing.
Yeah. Amar, he's very much being sacked this time around. They realize that there's no sense trying to win the unwinnable and just leave Amar the fucker down here by himself.
Amar, the what? The fine
Amar.
gentleman?
Yes, the funny chap.
The flower.
Indeed, indeed.
Of course.
How's our middle lane going? Hopefully things go a little bit better for BZM this time around. He's had some rough lanes in the tournament so far, but looks like it's going well versus OD to start things off. So we'll be going pretty even for now.
All fine in the Andy until OD gets that Meteor Hammer. He already has the ring, so he won't be zoned. He shouldn't be zoned out of the lane any longer.
Wow, OD Meteor Hammer, there's a new one. Oh, Misha turning up to the bottom lane and getting a decent amount of damage out onto onto Yatoro. Yatoro getting himself back, will be okay, so won't be a kill. Meanwhile, up on top though, Tiger in some trouble, but Collapse also getting very low here as Yuragi will be able to bring down the Underlord. Yes, Tiger dies, but honestly, that's a win for OG in my books.
Well, that's a win for OG on both lanes, right? On top lane, they kill off the Underlord, and on the bottom lane, they force out the Sal and push out Monkey King a little bit. Now, this is only possible because Monkey still is not level 3. Once he hits that level 3, things get a bit more difficult as he heals up quite a bit more afterwards if you trade hits with him.
Yes, Jingu level 1 is a bit of a bait
Tiger
in a
is
lot of
bottom,
circumstances, but this is the rotation. OG's so dynamic in this laning phase, and this might be a kill onto Miposhka. In fact, it very much is going to be a kill onto it. Oh, I say that, Fairy Fire comes out, the right clicks will be needed, not enough. Never mind, Miposhka might be getting back to the Tiger. He's so hungry for it. Give me the kill, he says. Yes, I might die here. He's not even going to die here, in fact. OG, they are just playing this bottom lane beautifully right now. Really good to see after the disaster that was last game. They just come bouncing back and very hopeful stuff so far at this only 4-minute mark.
And Tiger gets that bounty rune as well, and he's sticking around. They might go again. He did not go away, remember. So now his options are go control the rune or go bottom. I think the rune will be the case. It's pretty solid. I mean, for Toronto Tokyo, that's not really a big deal because he's an OD, he doesn't have a bottle, he goes for the Ring of Protection, so having that rune or not a huge difference for him.
This is a very promising sign for OG as well. You know, you love to see it when, and especially a new team, is able to come back from a loss and actually, you know, show a lot of life. And we're only in the starting phase of this game, but this is definitely looking like a team which isn't going to let themselves just be stamped out in that first match.
Tiger is being really careful there. They almost got him. They caught him in the sleep while he was Sokuchid, but top lane Yuragi, he doesn't have a blink for 5 seconds. Oh, they
could be in some trouble. Oh, the root is a little bit early there, but of course he doesn't know the cooldown of Blink. Actually, Mira's the one taking a lot of damage, and Tiger, he's here once again, here to clean up the kill onto Mira. Yuragi still healthy enough as they continue to whack away at Collapse. Of course, that big old slug, he's not going to go down. You need more than salt to kill this guy.
Yeah, so we were talking about that last game and how flawless the laning stage looked for Team Spirit. They're showing small signs of weaknesses in this game, like Collapse. They use Pit of Malice, and they use Bramble Maze at the same time, more or less, while Queen of Pain is already stunned. Plus the Brambles do not connect. These small little things, like they can lead to a kill or a counter kill that happened on top.
Ooh, this was interesting as well. Misha was so ready to TP in. He was like, all right, this guy's got Meteor Hammer. I need to be there to interrupt it. But actually, the OD had already used on a camera. Mar down at bottom, 3 heroes on top of him. No one here to TP because the Lion just came to mid. The Weaver's not available. So Amar, he's going to have to do some fancy footwork here. But actually, he's not. He just runs into the tower and they just don't chase on Team Spirit.
It feels like they stacked up their spells once again. Not properly enough. Maybe they're feeling a bit too relaxed after the first game. It can happen. I've seen teams do exactly that, but so far looking way, way better for OG. And the nighttime is there. This Night Stalker, he's not only survived the daylight, he thrived in it. Like, he has almost the same amount of CS as the Monkey King. This went way better than I imagined.
Wow.
Chill, bro. Chill and flex,
Amar
bro.
doing
Come on.
very
Mid
well.
lane? Yeah.
They're looking. It is nighttime. Toronto Tokyo getting jumped on a mid, going for the TP out, and I don't think they have the damage to take him down before he gets himself away. Meanwhile, down at bottom, Misha's here with an invis rune, but they have that sentry blocking the camp, which is kind of unfortunate for poor old Misha here, as he's going to get stunned up and most likely killed off here. Stuns up, but they're positioned themselves correctly, so he can only get one of them, and Misha will fall.
Yeah, that sentry rune actually, that sentry ward, sorry, actually scouted out Taiga before, so
Yeah.
they didn't communicate that well enough. Meanwhile, on that mid lane, what happened is Toronto Tokyo actually caught himself. He went close to TA and then astraled himself. Bottom lane.
Yep, they've got the Nightmare in. This is allowing TPs to come across from OG, and of course Misha's back in the country. However, he has been stunned up. Now, the counter-aggression comes out from OG. They're piling in the damage onto the Willow. They want to get this kill. Toro, considering going in here, just decides to take off the bug. And I think it's going to be Team Spirit who are on the defensive. But Mar's going to pop that ulti just to get the kill on Mira, blows him up. They're looking towards the Monkey King, but they don't really want to engage him head on. But now he gets off that Jingu. They will be forced back on OG. But Amar's still sticking around that tree line there. He knows where he's strong. It's nighttime. He's got that ultimate ticking over. And he's
And he's been salved,
away.
right? He's been salved as well. Plus there's a mango in case they want to make a move. They can mango either the Weaver or Misha. But Yatoro, he knows the lane is pushing in, and because of that, he's fine to just wait for it. Wasn't overly aggressive. How's mid lane doing? So far, this tier 1 on the mid lane is actually... It's missing 4 HP. And that's
no.
huge success for BZM. You're playing versus an OD. You haven't lost the tower at all.
That's a healthy old tower in the middle lane. OG going to be happy about that one. I mean, BZM, he's just clearing these waves, going to jungle, you know, classic TA BS. It's what she do. So well.
I was just thinking like this top lane that we completely ignored because it's kind of, you know, not really that interesting. Queen of Pain has 55 CS versus 29 on Collapse, so as expected he's doing really well. Mid lane?
Alright, here's the hammer, but Misha's in the neighborhood. Going to cancel that one out easily enough. Maposhka comes in, but unfortunately with that hammer being cancelled, the opportunity for an aggressive play from the side of Team Spirit is pretty much none. BZM knows this and just runs in to scoop up some more creeps. He's doing exactly what he should, just farming up a storm.
It's not the easiest game for OD as well when you think about it. The hero is, I mean, in one of the best spots. Maybe beginning of last year he was completely broken, now he's slightly broken. But you are playing versus this Night Stalker and the Lion. Once they get these blinks, once they are able to get on top of you, it becomes harder. But I like this move from Toronto Tokyo. They're moving bottom, they want to take the tier 1, perhaps kill off Amar in between.
So I've seen them, because he is just hightailing it away. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, there's some aggression going on. They've managed to find the Underlord of the jungle, and Collapse will not be surviving this engagement. Yep, down at bottom, they've just got a Night Stalker. I mean, he's under their ward, but he doesn't care. It's a Night Stalker at night time. You're not sneaking up on him, unfortunately. Oh no, that ward's
Yeah,
over.
you
My
can't
bad.
catch him.
There's
no way. They can catch the tier 1 on the bottom lane, so they'll slowly start going for that. But I like the OG's response. They're going mid. You can argue that this is more important, but with the Underlord TPing in, perhaps he can stop it. Just Firestorm away and that's it. So OG will actually not defend the bottom tower, and at the same time will not take the tier 1 mid.
And the Queen of Pain is shoving in top, but meanwhile we've got a Sleepy Weaver over in the triangle. Miriam Maposhko just bullying poor old Tiger here. Tiger not level 6, no way out of this one. He's going to get killed off. Couldn't navigate the bramble maze, unfortunately.
As you mentioned, like these small little kills like here on Weaver, for me they don't truly matter that much. He's doing his job, he's invading the enemy jungle, giving some info, warding up and whatnot. This top lane, however, can they kill Yuragi? That's my question, because Miposhka does not have 6. He might get it after all 3 creeps.
It's what he's waiting for, isn't it? But now he realizes that Yuragi's running away. He's getting a little bit too hungry here, and just got OG, they've called in the cavalry, and they want to blow up this bane as quickly as possible. They will not be able to, though, as Mira comes in with a great fear onto the 2 cores, pushing them back and saving Maposhka, who does now have the level 6.
Amar? He's trying to go a bit deeper.
He's tempted, isn't he? He is so tempted, but he knows that if he messes us up, it could be very costly indeed. Yeah, not happening. And, oh, hey, Toro. How's it going, buddy? Yeah,
He jumps out instantly. But you see, like, this play on top lane, like catching a Weaver there, insignificant. But this top lane, these two moves from both of the teams were so on point. Maybe Uragi can be caught this time around. He still does have his blink. The stun is there.
Donk down. Uragi taking some damage. The stun's out from Misha, trying to hold back these 4 heroes, but it's one man versus one, trying to use his body just to say, please, please leave my core alone. And in a way, it works. I mean, the Queen of Pain's out of there.
Yeah, like he prevented them from using that full grip on Queen of Pain and saves her that way. Like I'm just loving the fact that we're seeing some real quality Dota when it comes to just strategical aspect of it. They're still missing some spells. It feels like the teams, when it comes to the skill efficiency, it feels like they're 15% off of that game 1. You know, not as accurate, but the way they move across the map is still very pleasing to watch. Like defending this tier 1 on the top lane and also preventing them from killing Queen of Pain on the other hand. Like just on point.
Really nice stuff. Yeah, totally different team from game 1, honestly. Like they're just, I mean, I guess it always looks better when you can actually play the game after your laning phase.
Yeah, it's helpful. Collapse cannot though. Like this guy cannot play the game at the moment. He's going for this Atos, and when you look at his team, yeah, they don't necessarily struggle with catch, but this Atos build is very nice still on the Underlord. Versus the Queen of Pain, versus the Night Stalker, versus the Weaver, versus all of them, because you can stack up the Pit of Malice, right? Pit of Malice, Firestorm, Atos into another Pit of Malice stun. Uragi.
Ooh, Toronto Tokyo, he doesn't quite get in range. Oh no, that is a little bit awkward. Couldn't quite get off that Astral, and Uragi just walks away from danger.
Yeah, and he's sick of it. He's actually purchased his Blink Dagger now, and from this point onwards, he should be catching these pesky heroes.
Yeah. So why do they make that movement in now rather than wait for the Blink Dagger to come out for Toronto Tokyo?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Sometimes you just have to make a move as the lanes are pushing in, or you're just too eager to do something. Sometimes you see that they have this dire jungle, and you kind of anticipate where they're farming, so you try to catch the hero. Usually they caught Taiga actually bottom lane. He should be dead. They have grip.
He's having a little nap. Grip comes out. Well timed from Aposhka. An easy peasy pick off for the side of Team Spirit.
Yeah. And also they didn't show the Blink Dagger on this bottom lane. It's flying in. So once Toronto Tokyo has it, they should be unaware. Misha?
Yeah, looks like there's going to be another support dead on the side of OG. Just going on a little warding mission by his lonesome. And unfortunately does get cut down. So both supports dead on the OG. Some nice movements around from Team Spirit just to punish the wantonness of the OG supports right now.
Yeah, Toru is pretty big too. He has that Orb of Corrosion, Echo Saber going straight into the BKB, and I believe right now Team Spirit might make a move around Underlord. Meanwhile, Yatoru needs to bail from the top lane. They have 2 wards, they should scout this out. Yeah. And because of that Blink Dagger on OD, he can rotate mid through the Radiant jungle.
But Lizard, they have snuck their way into the Roshan pit here. They've got the double anti-armor of the TA and the Weaver, and of course that bug going to help tank up for the TA for a bit as well. Yeah, free 2-man Rosh at 15 minutes into the game.
DZM with the Desolator definitely helps out.
Yeah,
I don't think, yeah, Team Spirit is unaware of this.
Great
Amar
play, I mean. Amar could be in some trouble here. A lot of heroes on top of him. Going to pop that silence and move himself in, but the Willow's able to get off both those spells and run back into the clutch of the Night Stalker and take him down. Amar the Fallen in the top lane as Toronto Tokyo tries to blow up Tiger. Not quite enough damage. It's little HP, but this TA, she's in too deep here. Can she get the help from her team? They're just piling in to BZM. BZM will fall, but the finger in the screen takes out Yatoro at the same time with that Aegis. That is definitely a trade for OG. Tiger continuing to try and find the target, scouting out, getting those bugs down there, looking for the kill on to the Dark Willow. That's only going to delay the inevitable, I believe. That comes from the OD, and they will take down Mira as well. 2 heroes dead on the side of Team Spirit, one of which being that all-important carry. Oh, hello, make it number 3, counting with Nomad as they take down Miposhka as well. My goodness.
Yeah, my goodness, indeed. I actually felt that, okay, top lane, BZM, he got stunned.
Oh,
Did
just
they
on
catch
the
him?
edge. His pinky toe was in that radius there, and that brings him down. However, Tiger's coming in to try and help out here. They don't want to lose their TA just like that. Oh my goodness, the Melt Strike, it cleaves him in half. Meanwhile, the Monkey King drops down the Wukong's command, but the TA is continuing to turn and fight. They now have to back away as they lose Yuragi. But getting the old mid laner in that fight there for the side of OG, that's just lovely for them.
Yeah, damn, this is like some non-stop action happening right there. Firestorm does manage to clip on Queen of Pain, who blinks out but still dies to the overtime damage. And now I'm feeling like Team Spirit, they're way too eager to fight. Same way they were in complete control in the last game. I'm not saying that OG is in the same driving position, right? But they are slightly ahead. And the safer play for me, for Team Spirit, would have been to sack top lane, that tier 1, because you're fighting into the darkness versus Night Stalker. And go for mid lane, which is closer to all your heroes anyway. But they decide to fight top, and they suffer some heavy casualties.
Yeah, but, you know, we are casting OG versus Team Spirit here. Asking these guys not to fight is like asking a flower not to grow. And talking about flowers, Amar the Flower getting feared up, forced back, but he is very quick in the nighttime, so they won't actually be able to bring him down.
Yeah, that fear actually helped him out a little bit, right? Because of all the movement speed that he has, he just runs away. Miposhka.
Gonna do that anyway. Weaver. He's being slapped, but Yuragi, he's in from behind. This is a bait here, and they're just gonna turn it straight around onto Toronto, Tokyo. This OD is having a miserable game right now. Miposhka's gonna fall as well. OG picking them off. Meanwhile, Amar looking like he's I think
fine.
he was going on top here just to kind of bait them and keep them in the area whilst they made the play at bottom, because he knows that he can just run away.
Yeah. They used the ATOS, they used the Pit of Malice, so they couldn't really catch him. And now Taiga is the one chasing, actually.
Amar the Fleer, however. Mira sticking behind. He seems to know where that sentry ward is, so he's keeping his distance. Oh no, he's walked into it now. Misha's like, I know where you are. Come here, you pesky little Willow. Sentries are down. They want to catch this Willow, and Mira might well be caught here. Just plastering the floor with sentries. They don't want to leave anything up to our chance. And Collapse, he's just going to peace out. See you later.
Yeah. He's not going to catch the bus on Dark Willow. Everyone else does survive. And right now, if you're Team Spirit, you need to wait up for this BKB on your Toro God. Once you have that, I think perhaps you can take a fight, but it's getting increasingly difficult. TA, she is caught bottom lane though.
Having a little nap. No one really nearby to help her out. Literally every other OG hero is on the other side of the map, so this will just be a kill. Wukong's command just to guarantee it, and this is a death for BZM.
Yeah, really nice catch from Miposhka. He's been on this area catching heroes for the last 10 minutes, more or less. And they do have this one ward on the cliff that's been around for like 3-4 minutes, giving a lot of vision. So there's a BKB on Amar, and he's building slowly into the Blink Dagger. Once he gets the Blink Dagger and the BKB, like OD is not gonna have a lot of fun. And his only job will be, okay, I'm gonna jump the OD and maybe the Bane and just keep them silenced. They won't be able to do much.
So what should we be looking for to go right for Team Spirit in these fights for it to swing in their favor?
They can still swing it in their favor for sure. Like you're looking at this BKB on Monkey King as well. If they manage to fight around Wukong's arena properly, then the Night Stalker can't perhaps be on top of his targets all the time. He will be taking way too much damage. There's a grip as well that you can catch the Night Stalker with, but it all comes down to him really. For me, it's not like all the other heroes. Yeah, you can kill, but to do that, you need to control the Night Stalker.
Meanwhile, Tiger, he's going for the Ags as well, making it even harder for these pick-off-based heroes to get their target. That's going to be a really big pickup for OG as well.
It's your casual build-up, right, on the Weaver. You always, not always, but most of the time, you go for the Vessel Wand and the Aghanims. You don't need boots or anything like that. He might be caught here.
Oh, it's a bait. It's a bait, yeah. They don't want to take it. Oh man, I've been in this situation. My king is just like, I really want to jump this guy. Meanwhile, at the top, there's a bit of action taking place, and this will be their cue to go. Once again, with Amar showing top, they jump on bottom, but it's a trap once again. Maposhka so very low here, might just tick out to the AoE damage. Certainly will, and down goes Mirror as well. It's going to be 2 for Yuragi in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, up top, I think Night Stalker made it out absolutely.
Yeah, he just TP'd. He just TP'd away. There was absolutely no way of catching him.
I'm
surprised.
That play though. I love that play.
I'm surprised they bit the bait on the bottom lane because of the way Taiga was baiting. You don't necessarily see a Weaver just go completely into a creep wave like that, you know, to farm it. It's like, all right, I see what you're doing there, man. Like
he's like covering himself in chocolate, you know, he's got a rose in his teeth. He's like, come get me, boys. And they're like, God damn.
Like winking, you know, come at me.
But what I really liked about that from OG, right, is that Amar's like, yeah, like they're not taking the bait bottom. Okay, we got to add a little bit more and another worm to this hook. He just engages on top, you know. He lulls them into this false sense of security that they're making a play on top or something. At least the Night Stalker's not there. That's a trigger for Team Spirit to then go, okay, yeah, we'll commit to this kill. And it does not work out for them.
Yeah, Underlord now, he has completed the Crimson Guard together with the Rod of Athos, so some extra blocking capabilities versus the TA always comes in handy. The TA that has completed the BKB now. This is pretty much it for OG. All they have to do is secure the dire jungle and wait for Aegis. Wait for Roshan to respond, that is.
And that is Team Spirit's cue as well. They need to be contesting this Roshan. You cannot let OG get it for free. We'll see what Team Spirit are able to do. It's been a rough game for them so far, but they are by no means out of it yet. They're still very capable of fighting up into them.
Oh, for sure. There's Naganims now completed on Toronto, Tokyo too. And they might even look at that as their signal to go fight.
Plus, you know, I hate to mention it again, but these guys won TI. They are more than capable of weaseling themselves out of tricky situations. In fact, it won them their fair share of, what, $40 million? So
yeah, it's just a small change.
Bit of pocket change.
Yeah. They did smoke up, all 5 of them, and there is a smoke on the other side too, so OG, they are expecting a fight around the tier 2. OG, they do not have a lot of vision, however. I'm not seeing any Radiant Wards. Do you see any Radiant Wards in the Dire jungle?
Not that I can see.
Yeah, so the vision is definitely on the Dire side, at least for a small part. Plus they have the outpost.
So what are Team Spirit looking for here? How do they start this fight? What's their dream initiation?
I feel like the best thing that you could do is put Night Stalker so low, perhaps not kill him, but get him so low that he cannot really impact the fight in any meaningful way. He's the one that completely breaks your side apart, right? And then if you could connect with the Wukong's command so that OD is completely free to do whatever he wants to, it's the perfect scenario for them. And if you're OG, you're just trying to disrupt the supports and the OD at the beginning. Like the Bane mustn't get his grip off, the OD mustn't get his Aghanim Scepter to full use.
So a lot needs to go Team Spirit's way, but at the same time, you know, OG, they do have squishy heroes. Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin, if they can be isolated and blown up by this OD, he is going to do a lot of damage to them. They're not tanky, but they have those BKBs, which is really
exactly important. Right. The BKBs are a huge part, and that's why they rushed them on all 3 cores. Night Stalker got as literally his first item. TA, yeah, a little bit after, but Queen of Pain as well is going for that BKB. She's pretty close to it.
Oh, this is going to be good. On pause comes out. Team Spirit, what is the plan? They're holding the line for now. Watching, waiting, seeing when their time to strike is. They have lost this tower already, but they want to catch them as they come back to check Roshan. That is the play here. Whoever comes forward first might just get their lives completely taken out of their hands.
They're waiting for them. Weaver is running straight into their hands.
Perfect. They know exactly where they're going.
Shot.
Oh, the blink out! They don't catch anyone!
They caught
now,
TA.
Okay, who they got? It's TA with the BKB available, so they know it's not really a great target, but they got the grip! The BKB didn't come off! TA, she might just be dead here. She is gone. Great scream out from Yuragi, but with your TA dead, I'm not sure OG can fight this. They're trying to find a way into this one, but it's just not happening. VZM and Yuragi both lying dead on the ground. Amar trying to make something happen, and he tries to bully this OD. He thinks if I can take out one, I might stop them doing Roche, but Nope, not the case. Misha's gonna die as well. Mar just goes to the trees and TPs away. And guess what? This is such a short respawn on Roshan. Just 10, 15 seconds on this Roche clock. And it is already back. This is absolute dream scenario for Team Spirit.
The worst thing is, something that looked so good for OG ended up being so bad for them. Keep in mind, Lion blinked out of that Pit of Malice, right? They didn't catch him. They didn't catch another hero that ran right next to them, right? The Weaver, right next to the stairs. But then, because Lion doesn't have that blink, he's unable to stop the grip. And Night Stalker, he was like 10 gold away from the Blink Dagger as well. So he was unable to break Bane's grip on the TA. I think that's pretty much the golden, the best scenario, dream scenario for Team Spirit.
Who knew that that's how it was actually supposed to go down? They split the team fight in half, and the saves are too far away from the cause. And wow.
Sometimes it's a little bit of luck as well. Sometimes the fate just looks your way. That Lion using the blink to escape, it helped them out so much because instantly they get this small window in which they can kill off TA. And they utilize it really, really well, as they always do, at least since TI.
Yeah, and it all started from that great trap, didn't it? Like, they knew they would come back and check Roshan, so they're just waiting, see who comes and does it, and yeah, in the end it goes great. And now, they're the ones with an Aegis in their hand. They've neutralized the net worth advantage. It is now pretty much dead even on gold, and they might have just found themselves a Mar in the middle lane. He's popping that BKB, trying to get himself back. Will be able to do that. He's a pretty quick hero. Does survive. Still BKB charge now. Meanwhile, BZM being very aggressive here, trying to catch out Maposhka.
Rip
Now
again.
the grip comes out. Sir, you might be in some trouble. Goodbye, BZM. Little bit too ambitious there, going for the Bane kill.
Yeah, they need to put some more respect now on Miposhka and his Bane. This is like he's getting extremely easy kills on these targets that bought BKBs. They need to fight together. OG feels a little bit lost. Like, you do have ways of preventing the Bane grip, but they're just too split out. Like Taiga here. Okay, this happens, right? Like, you got caught by OD, you're trying to farm up your Aghanims. But the mid lane is the problem.
Yeah, that's a double damage Monkey King, by the way, guys. Kind of scary with the Destillator on top of that. Might need to do something about this, OG? Is there anything they can do about this? Lions trying to pump out that damage, but looks like, oh, Monkey getting very low. Oh, okay, Ragi with a little swipes from the sidelines. And then look at the collapse as well. They want to bring him down before the Monkey King can come back into this, and they will do exactly that. Goodbye, collapse. Wow, what a defense from OG there.
That was some really sweet defense by Misha and Yuragi. The way they comboed their spells, the Impale, the Scream of Pain into Sonic Wave, just really well played. Yatoro God, he was a little bit too greedy there, right? Like, he had that double damage and he thought, I'm just gonna heal up on this puny Lion and take their side, and that's it. Slightly greedy from their side, but really well executed by OG.
Well.
I still feel like Team Spirit, not a lot has changed, unless OG changed the way they're approaching these fights. They need to control Miposhka. It's the bottom line.
Indeed, indeed. Hopefully the next fight they take, they'll be able to keep their formation strong and not get caught out. Of course, when they get the Ags on the Weaver, I think it kind of changes a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, they have it now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's big then, right? Because that means the focus on Miposhka isn't quite as strong. You can time-lapse whoever gets caught by that Bane ultimate and hopefully save them. But still,
it helps out, definitely.
It's like a safety buffer, you know?
Yeah, now it's on Team Spirit as well to think about the Weaver. I'm not sure if they noticed that he has Aghanims. He is smoked though, and Taiga might be the first one that runs in.
Yep, immediately scooches himself back. His traps now silencing up Collapse. Mar, feels like they're just trying to poke the BKB out of him, see if they can get an overreaction there, but Amar, he stays still. Amar the calm.
Miposhka is still smoked up, and there's a Weaver illusion going his way. Oh, is he baited here? Let's see.
Nah, they see the damage it's taking, right?
Yeah, they see the damage.
Yeah. I was
Good
worried
thing
for a
he
minute
didn't.
there.
Yeah, good thing he didn't grip instantly. That would have been pretty sad.
Love this. Both
Yuragi.
teams moving very carefully across the map. They do see Yuragi here, of course, has that BKB. Might be for... Oh, Tiger's just like literally sitting right behind him, behind a singular tree.
Right behind that tree, you know, like your kid is about to fight and you're just standing there waiting to see what's gonna happen. Just in case he does something bad, you're gonna get him out.
Bosnian parenting is quite something. Yuragi gets the BKB, look around on Toronto. Tokyo also pops a BKB and just pieces out of this one. So instead, they'll turn their attention towards Collapse, but of course that BKB is ending. Gotta be a little bit careful here, but I don't think they do actually. They've got no OD, they've got no Monkey either. Everyone's backing away on the side of Team Spirit. They recognize the situation is pretty bad for them, so they will just clear out and sacrifice poor old Collapse, who has been sacrificed a lot this game.
And to defend the culture, to prevent any violence from happening, you're standing there to see if they can sort it out as gentlemen.
Ah, right, there we go. Good
That's
recovery.
what
Good recovery.
That's obviously what I meant.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Team Spirit, they're coming back. They say we don't need Collapse. We can fight regardless. We can defend this tower at least regardless. And
A very interesting game in comparison to that first one that felt like it was over pretty much after the laning stage. Like both of these teams have ways of actually playing the team fights now with the Weaver, Agon, and Scepter. It just adds another dimension to the way OG can approach the fights. But there's a smoke.
I mean, team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Misha's gone.
Three
Called
hits
out warding.
literally. Boundless Strike and one Echo Saber connection.
Dead in 2 seconds. Never feels good, really. Never feels good.
Yeah, one thing that I worry for Taiga is the next item that he's going for is the Lotus Orb. And one problem with the Aghanim Scepter, like it's great. You love this Weaver Aghanim Scepter, but it's nowhere near as powerful as it used to be because of the range. And you just might get caught. You go in and you get caught like this.
Yep. Excellently demonstrated. Mira's coming in from the side as well to further commit to the kill here. No grip needed. Tiger goes down. Great pick off here from Team Spirit.
I love how he actually saved the grip. Like and it was pretty much in the nick of time that he died, right? One more second and he has enough space to use his ulti. Very well calculated.
Yeah, I mean, if Weaver's dead, that's great. If Weaver's dead and there's still grip available, that is so good for Team Spirit. Yeah.
No,
Team Spirit.
Usually when you watch OG, you expect their offlane to be, you know, doing some moves, right-clicking away. Like, he's been a semi-carry from the offlane most of the time. Now he has that Basher as well. This Night Stalker hurts during the nighttime.
Yeah, but it's been refreshing to see MR playing a very different game. You know, he's been sacrificial as much as Collapse has been, maybe even more so, just playing in the top lane, constantly being deep. And, you know, he's not focusing on himself this game, so it's cool to see him playing a different style of Dota than what we've previously seen. But then still building the Basher because he is MR.
Being sacrificial, but still gonna carry a little bit, you know?
Yeah. You know, you can take the... Oh, here we go. Jumping in the front lines. They want to throw up the OD straight off the bat. Great stun in from Misha. And that's going to be 2 cores dead off the bat. My goodness, there is not a chance in hell for Team Spirit to fight back into OG in this one. They find the perfect angle of initiation. And Utura's going to get out, but that was just great from OG.
And it's even Team Spirit's vision that was around, right? On that cliff, they had a good ward. They saw the smoke break, but you still cannot do anything about the Night Stalker blinking in the behind, popping that BKB and just eliminating the supports. Bane, he has a force staff, so he forced himself away, but it doesn't truly help. Like, Night Stalker will still take you out. If you take out Bane, the BKBs are free to use on the side of OG, and you can actually take a teamfight, maybe even a side now.
I think that was a double damage TA as well, so, you know, pretty fortunate for OG, but just absolutely tearing the OD apart before he gets a chance to do anything. And if that OD is dead first, then your fights are just over. Bane couldn't save them because of all the different initiations going on. Yeah, great jump from OG. Man, these fights, like, I kind of wish they were closer, because it's either one team or the other, and it's never much of a struggle for the team which wins it. Very, very interesting strategy to look at, though. Like, both teams will be pouring over the replays for this game, that's for sure.
It really feels like OG, they got their stuff together again. Like, they're approaching the fights properly, they're not being picked off, they're moving as a team.
Dire's bottom tower
Now they're a
is
side
under
up.
attack. Haste.
All right, Team Spirit not one to play from behind for very long. Smoke up from them. They're going to look for an initiation.
See the bugs? Just scouting out with Weaver, and because no one actually got connected to, they're moving back. They're even blinking out. They're reading this really well. They know there's a smoke coming.
Wow.
Okay, this is discipline, right? This is something that I expected from OG in the game 1 as well, but they're definitely stepping it up here, and maybe even smoke now. 10 seconds away from nighttime on the Night Stalker.
What a read, honestly. They didn't do that on a trap or anything. That was just pure gut read.
The smoke?
Yeah.
They used the swarm, and no one was showing on the map. So it's kind of... I mean, it's not super obvious, but it's pretty obvious.
All right. And now Roshan is back up once again, which means we have a brand new objective to fight over. Who's going to take it? We shall find out pretty shortly, I would imagine. Does seem to be OG. When the fights are 5-on-5, the last one did go the way of OG pretty convincingly, so it's hard to see unless Team Spirit can be very, very sneaky, which they can. It's hard to see how they will take the fight, though. I know, just a head-on-head collision.
They're getting some bonus utility from the Underlord now with the AC completed.
That's
On the other side, can they? I'm not sure they can do this because of the trap in the pit, right?
Yes, but at the same time, it's going to be a quick Roshan. OG, they've taken bottom tower. They're sprinting across the map to try and interrupt this Roshan.
You're just not. You're not fast enough for this. I'm pretty sure
Half
there's no
health.
way you do it.
OG are coming. Yep, they're backing out the pit. They realize this might not have been the best idea as they jump onto the Dark Willow. Immediately, Uragi popping the BKB, trying to fight into this one. But she is getting beaten down pretty hard, but in comes BZM with the damage onto Collapse. Meanwhile, Amar just beating up the Bane on the sidelines. Turret's going to jump on him, but it's too late to protect his support. Collapse is gone, Misha as well. Meanwhile, Amar flying, chasing that Monkey King. He can't get away from the Night Stalker, so he's going to have to jump with those trees. Run, but Toronto Tokyo, he's going in here. What is he doing? He's looking for the target. He brings down Uragi, but he's going to give his own life for this as BZM's just blasting away from the sidelines. The Templar Assassin completely untouched. He's going to rip through everyone, and it is going to be the fight going the way of OG. They push down the bottom tower, bait, move across the map, and the fight belongs to and Amar just wants to end. Look at this guy.
It's not. He doesn't want to end. He wants to bait out the buybacks. I believe at least.
I see. Well, I mean,
They
you say that, but OG are turning up 3 heroes into the middle lane. They definitely want to force these buybacks here for sure.
Yeah. You force the buybacks and then you go rush. I think that's the. Or at least, it looks like at least the glyph is forced. It was, I would say, even slightly desperate move from Team Spirit trying to go into the pit. You have AC, you have Desolator on the Monkey King, but you're not Weaver plus TA. You don't dish out that much of a damage to 3-man the Roshan before they move in. And because you're doing that Roshan, you're giving all the info that OG needs, and then they can pick the targets they want to go on. Like, one thing that I'm seeing Team Spirit is lacking in the last, let's say, 5-6 minutes is they're not protecting the Bane at all. Like, every single fight, Amar, he has like a ballpoint ball mark on that Bane and he's just chasing him down.
Yep. Amar, he wants to cuddle this Bane. And Maposhka, you know, he's a bit of a... He's like, no, I'm not a cuddler, but not really getting a choice this game.
Just wants to be friends, Night Stalker.
Yeah.
You know.
Amar the friendly. Oh god, a Missile Blade now finished up, and he's going for the Nullifier next as well. Yeah, he wants to be very, very friendly.
There's a shard now, refresher shard on Queen of Pain, so you will have double the BKB, you will have a cheese and the Lotus Orb completed on Weaver. The things are getting out of hand a little bit for Team Spirit, unless they can do some incredible sanities and Eclipse. Hard one to come back into.
I kind of feel like if they can take down the TA once, you can get it with the Wukongs on the second life. You know, when you're playing against Monkey King, Aegis just feels a little less valuable. But look at Amar, he's always waiting where you don't expect him to be. Always looking for his best friend Bane. He's sending him love letters, you know, he's liking his pictures on Instagram.
Stalker, like a true Night Stalker.
Very good, very good.
Top lane.
And now it
BZM.
begins. I mean, the TA's already lost about half her health. Doesn't want to pop the BKB on her first life, but she is going to suffer quite heavily for that. Is that going to cause them to back away, though? I doubt it. Now Amar's been revealed in the mid lane. Yeah,
I think they expected Taiga to use his ulti on TA there, so that's why they let her get damaged that hard. But Taiga couldn't really find the angle to approach her, or he decided not to time-lapse into Pit of Malice anyway.
True. Yeah, the time lapse could be a bit of an issue when it comes to repositioning as well, couldn't it? Yeah, that's a great point.
Still though, they're farming away. There's the Aegis on TA still for 2.5 minutes. You could complete the Swift Blink if you wanted to. Or you can save for the buyback. It's one of the options on TA. I actually think maybe Swift Blink would be not that greedy considering you still have the Aegis.
Yeah, it's always tempting to buy out when you've got that Aegis, but of course when the Aegis disappears and you don't have buyback, then you're like, pump the brakes a bit.
And you're so late in the game, it's 14-minute mark, so if you die and you don't have buyback, they could maybe even end the game. They don't truly have the best pushing, but they're fast enough.
We're now 40 minutes deep into what's been definitely one of the most interesting games of the tournament. OG putting up an excellent fight here against Team Spirit and 20k gold up. They are set to take this game, but Team Spirit, of course, 20k gold down, 30k gold down. Oh, you never count this team out. They just close to running out for, well, not really, still a bit of time left to do something, but I mean, why aren't OG forcing this high ground, Lizard?
Well, if you look at Team Spirit, they can't leave their base. So why force something if the enemy team is not getting anything out of the map for the last like 5 minutes? This is not 5, let's say 3 minutes. This is very disciplined from OG. Now they might go for it.
Sleep up onto BZM, but the Lotus is out, which means that they can't really go for the grip. Not that they would anyway, not onto an Aegis target. That would just give OG basically swinging the doors open and laying out the red carpet for them to come high ground if they use the grip from BZM there. But they'll continue trying to do some damage. Collapse just kind of tapping away at that refraction,
Amar.
getting it down. Meanwhile, Amar jumping to the backlines along with Yuragi here. They're trying to go for the Bane, but I'm not sure they're going to get him. Refresher out from the Queen of Pain as they're able to take down Mirror again. Targeting the support so damn hard as Collapse gets straight on the front lines as well. OG keeping a tight formation as they'll drop the hammer down onto Amar in the backlines. Toronto trying his best to take him down. Toronto, Tokyo trying to bring him down. He will be able to do that. Amar is dead, but Yuragi and BZM, they are still in live in this fight. But they'll back themselves away. Wukong's command kind of going to waste here, but also forcing OG out of their base. Tiger, meanwhile, on the high ground, he's rooted up, he's being taken down, he's got another time lapse to work with, but will it be enough? I don't think so. Tiger's gonna die. And look at this, blink forward from the OD. He's looking for Misha as well. They want to find another +1 to this. OG, they do lose 3 heroes inside this, but it was a lot of buybacks expended from Team Spirit.
Yeah, they forced the buyback on Collapse, on Bane, and on Dark Willow. I think you're kind of fine if you're Team Spirit with this. You protected your side. TA has her Aegis now reclaimed as well. She does have a buyback, but at least you're not playing against Aegis anymore. It was very unfortunate for the Team Spirit as well, the way that fight started. The moment the Knight pops, I just love how fast they are on Team Spirit. OD instantly pops Shivas because he's expecting the Night Stalker and everyone to jump on him. Night Stalker, he doesn't go on the Bane this time around. Hold that thought. Bottom lane.
Yep, Toronto Tokyo, BKB'd up, but BZM's here with the physical damage, forcing back Toronto Tokyo, but he's got teammates coming in. Yatora, he's getting on top of BZM right now. They've got a lot of damage to pump out onto this TA. I don't think she's got a way out of this one. When that refraction is down, she just gets absolutely evaporated.
Now you have 90 seconds to perhaps go and force this buyback. They want it for sure. Queen of Pain is still blinking behind. Perhaps she will try to creep skip here. However, Mipochka, look at him. Is he going? Ah man, he's so good. Like this is TI winner stuff right here.
He's gonna get the grip.
Yuragi no, because of the spell block. This is what messed with him in the high ground push as well. He actually used grip on Quap in the high ground push, and she had that spell block, so he wasted it. This time around he didn't use it, but Yuragi was a bit too fast.
That Ruddy 25 talent, eh?
nothing broken there. Just a normal casual, not all strong at all.
How much does Lincoln's cost, by the way?
It's enough time. You just need enough time to get to that 44-minute, 40-minute mark, and 3 Lincolns for Queen of Pain.
And now the tier 4 items are coming out as well. I'm wondering if we're going to get anything special. Is there anything which would be really... I mean, Leveler and Monkey King's always really nice. That is a great one.
I mean, they didn't have tier 4 items for a really long time. They came out quite a while ago, but they couldn't get them.
Fighting.
Yeah, they were just stuck in base.
Yeah.
Leveler is pretty nice. Meanwhile, Mira still sticking to his faithful Philosopher's Stone, you know. Gold. Stronger than anything else. There's a Spell Prism as well, Nodi, which is really nice.
Ooh, or a Relic. Oh, what a decision
Or
to
the
make.
Relic. Yeah.
No, they give the Relic to Collapse.
Collapse, yeah. Or
That's really good, though. Oh, no, never mind. Keeping the Flicker.
giving it to Dark Willow in the end.
Plenty
All
to
of these
dispel in
heroes
this game.
really use Spell Prism and the Relic really well, like all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I guess you want to have the Flicker on Collapse to give him some save at least, as he doesn't have a BKB or a Force Staff or anything like that.
OG with the smoke now. Roche has hit that minimum respawn time. And OG want to make something happen. And put themselves in the driving seat once again. Ultimate popped from Amar. They're looking for a target. They're going to find the Dark Willow straight off the back here. Misha trying to follow up with a Blinking and Hex, but it's a little bit of a messy initiation. They'll be able to keep this hero alive a little bit longer, but no. They just sack Mira. They say, hey, you know what? Passed. We lose our Willow here. That's fine. Good jump from OG.
That's no buyback. That's a big kill that they just made. There's no buyback on Dark Willow. You're playing 4 versus 5 for 90 seconds now. You might even have to sack top lane. Bane?
Blinken. That is, oh my god, that's a Bane. They need to keep this guy alive, and they know exactly that as Yutoro jumps in. Great Wukong's command just off the back lines here, just getting on top of BZM. Meanwhile, the Queen of Pain, she's actually going deep with Amar here. Both of them jumping past the Wukong's command. They're playing around the radius here as Yutoro's kind of split the fight, but Team Spirit not really able to make anything happen with this. Wukong's command's going to go down, no casualties on the side of OG. They're trying to look for Yuragi here, but look at this, he's squeezed into that corner. How does he even fit in there? And, well, right now they're looking at the OD. OD doesn't have the BKB yet. Don't think Finger is out. The damage is in. Do they have enough to finish off the out of the barrel? I'm not sure. Markup's jumping in with Yuragi once again. Simultaneous jumping from these two. Grip out from a poster in the backlines, but there comes the ultimate from Tiger, keeping him alive. Yutoro taking damage, hexed up, taking so many hits here. They're actually looking past him, looking for Collapse, want to bring him down instead. Now they turn their attention to the Monkey King. Yutoro being taken down. Yutoro is dead for 100 seconds. I think that might be it as a GG comes out from Team Spirit. OG take game number 2.
Yeah, I'm actually so happy that we're gonna see game 3 in this series. Like OG versus Team Spirit, this new upcoming OG squad is looking so promising. I would have hated if they just banged out 2 games in a row. After that first one, Mantle of Intelligence dropped again on the ground. Some VM happening. But,
As tradition.
I feel like Team Spirit in this game made a couple of mistakes. First, in the laning stage, it wasn't as stellar as in the first one. But most importantly, they didn't adjust to the team fights properly later on. The moment Amar has Blink and a BKB, he jumped Miposhka 3 or 4 team fights in a row. He eliminated him without Team Spirit seemingly knowing or understanding how to approach it. Later on in these high ground pushes, you could see them play really, really well around that. Toronto Tokyo would always Astral imprison Miposhka, then Miposhka would Force Staff OD. So they kited the Night Stalker together. If they realized that, or if they approached the team fights like that a little bit earlier, this would have been Team Spirit's game. But very well played by OG. They utilized their strengths really well. They bought the BKBs on all 3 cores, and the moment Amar had that Blink Dagger, they just ended Team Spirit.
They've taken 1 game off Team Spirit. Can they make it 2 and do what their predecessors could not? We're going to find out after this break.
Radiant's courier has been killed. 30 seconds to battle.
Back for you.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, reading chat before that game, there were a lot of people who were saying that the sky was about to fall on OG's head. And I think all of those people should write out a full apology to the OG team in chat, because that was a domineering performance to take this game 2 against Team Spirit. Black, talk to me about what OG did so well in that game.
Well, they took Twitch advice to heart. Like, get good. Like, all right, we'll do that. And now, in all seriousness, the Night Stalker got off to like a pretty good start actually. He got really high levels. He got decent amount of farm, almost the same CS as the Monkey King at some point. And then they also managed to stop the OD from snowballing. Like the mid tower took 0 damage in like 10 minutes or something, which is like super important when you play against that hero. They picked like a lot of these like mini stuns. They can just apply. I think he tried to Meteor Hammer the TA like 4 or 5 times, and Misha was always there. Just stop him. And then, of course, the Quap also just completely, stomped the lane. Like, it was like double the net worth. So, recipe to success seems to be, in this series at least, win your lanes, transition to a strong mid game, and build on the advantage from there.
A carry Quap is pretty experimental. So, Bcop, talk to me a little bit about what that did well. Was it played effectively like a mid? What did it do pretty well there?
I mean, I think it alludes to also what Black said. Like, when you're winning your lanes, you're just able to get away with everything. They got their early BKBs, and that really let them pop off. Like, you take a look at their items here, it's just like Night Stalker BKB, TA BKB, Quap BKB, ready to go. Like, not going to be afraid of this team. We're going to make sure that it's really tough for them to control us. These BKBs are going to open up the game for us, especially with the lanes going well. We've closed up their map a little bit more, and from there, like, it just feels like the sky's the limit, and they really popped off.
I think what's worth mentioning here is that obviously OG went out of those lanes very strong, as Black said, but Team Spirit did pull something of a comeback there. It wasn't a collapse by any stretch of the imagination. Forgive the pun. Do you think Team Spirit still showed a lot of strength in that series game, Black?
Definitely. Like that one fight where they baited them to check Roshan. Sure, Misha had very good reflexes and blinked away, but it was also the golden ticket for Team Spirit to get that grip onto the TA and just eliminate him out of the fight. Quap was like, oh my god, I gotta help my TA. Didn't have BKB at the time. Also jumped in, got taken out. And actually, after the Roche fight, I thought Spirit had the game on check. But as Lizard already alluded to, they did not manage to secure what gave them so much success in those team fights previously. They did not manage to protect the Bane.
Do you think Team Spirit now change it up a little bit? Because we were calling for them to change it up a little bit after that game 1 anyway, because I think sometimes after such a domineering game, if you do things exactly the same, then maybe they've got an answer figured out. Do they need now to change the question, as it were?
I definitely think Spirit can keep it somewhat the same. I maybe, as much as OD's been pretty strong, I think that might be the one thing that I would take out of this. Also, I guess the Underlord too. It didn't feel like Collapse was really getting much done with that hero at times. Obviously, you see the score lines 2-9 and 9. You've seen this guy pop off and be the guy who carries everybody on his back by making some amazing plays. And there were some plays that he made in that last game, but I think you could maybe shift the OD to Collapse, go for something different on Toronto Tokyo, give Collapse a little bit more comfort in his pick.
Yeah, I was going to mention it as well. That maybe, taking that OD out of the offlane, which we pretty much thought is like already locked in, was a little bit of a like self-bait. Because sure, Toronto Tokyo played the hero well, but like they needed something like a Void Spirit to really just make more space around the map. Because the way the game went, they lost 2 lanes, and then you have an OD farming, Underlord trying to catch back up, and a Monkey King farming. Like, who makes the plays? Like, so in hindsight, it wasn't really. They didn't really have a way to come back into the game.
It feels like they, with that pick, with the Underlord pick, it was like an aha moment. We're picked specifically to counter OG rather than picking to make themselves strong. And it often feels like when teams do that, they end up a little bit hamstrung. So maybe they need to play more into their own strengths rather than trying to negate a team who aren't necessarily as good as them, I suppose would be. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Sure.
We can probably make the statement about everybody right now. Like, I don't think anybody's on Spirit's level, individually at least. But if the team play comes together like that.
Yeah, most certainly. Let's look forward to a game. Enjoying your cat climbing into your little hole on the back there. Big analysis there from Black's cat. It's distracted me. Let's look there forward to the draft then, which will be coming out very shortly. If you had to choose some picks for OG BCOP, what would you pick?
I think they can definitely keep it a little bit similar. I love the lion. I'm always a big fan of having that instant disable and having that burst damage that you can get from that. It looked like Taiga was really comfortable on that Weaver. Got away with a lot and really kept some of those heroes available in these fights. When you're able to put the time lapse on your cores and bring them back to full health, and then they get a second chance without an Aegis, that's definitely one of those things that can really make or break a fight. So I'd like to see the Lion and the Weaver again, but the way I see maybe Spirit banning, I guess it depends. It depends on who's got priority, but them definitely banning out like the Weaver IO or something like that, and maybe the Lion gets kept in. I'd like to keep that the same at least.
Do you want to see carry Quap Black? That seems like your sort of thing. I remember you extolling the virtues of carry Pudge to me a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, in a game like this, it was a pretty strong fit, simply because it does counter the underlord in the lane, especially if you try lane for like a good minute or a minute and a half. You just get him to level 3. Underlord, I think, wasn't even close to being level 3. I think he just reached level 2. Level 2 Shadow Strike, way too much to deal with, and then you can basically just play like a traditional mid/carry, right? Like you get these items up, the Kaya Sanj, the BKB, you blink in, you cause chaos, you have the mid lane TA who deals all the physical damage, so you don't need to worry about that. It was a very strong pick, a very strong execution too. That one team fight, he hit like a 4-man Sonic Wave, completely crushed the enemy team.
Yeah, much to come then forwards. I want to talk a little bit about OG as a team and as kind of a unit to play against. I was told by some analysts recently that young teams like OG, kind of new squads that get pulled together like this, often see a kind of a burst of initial success because no one's quite sure what to do against them. They've got so many little pocket picks, so many little strategies that aren't necessarily out there for everyone to see. Team Spirit, after winning TI, will have been one of the most analysed teams in the game of Dota in the past couple of years. Everyone knows what Team Spirit are going to do, and it's quite difficult for them to change up for that. Do you think some of this initial strength from OG is perhaps just because there is something of an unknown, or do you think there's much more quality in the squad than that perhaps says?
There's definitely, I would say there's more quality in it. I think that with scrims and everything, you're definitely getting a read on some of these teams. Maybe these two teams aren't exactly scrimming each other, but they've also seen OG play a couple of times before this. Like you said, Spirit's the most analyzed team, but sometimes analyzing a team so much may not be enough. Like a team can be better than the analyticals that you drag from it. There's something that is known in baseball as doing too many numbers, where they've got into these sabermetrics and they've gone into breaking down things so much that it ultimately doesn't even matter. Like you're guessing like, oh, he only hits the fastball in the lower half of the plate, whereas in the inside, and like you just can you break it down too much? Like you almost know everything about Spirit, but can you even beat it at that point? But OG, I think there are things that they do really well that maybe Spirit aren't ready for, because guys who kind of just jumped into the tier 1 like that.
Do you agree, Black?
Yeah, I mean, generally, it's when we speak about this like honeymoon phase, right? Like it can vary from team to team, but a lot of people would probably say like the last year's Team Secret is a very good example, where they for 3 months win every tournament like super easily, and then suddenly they fall off, don't really get to the major, drop out of the group stage, and they were just like really figured out at that point. But I don't know if you can make the same assessment of for OG, because OG just like when you played against Secret, you knew all their players, what they're good at, what they're bad at. But with OG, like you don't really have much information about them, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it will take for people to really figure out how to break down their playstyle or what. I do think Spirit in game 1 had like the perfect approach, and perhaps they're just gonna go back to that, and maybe other teams will like assimilate a similar playstyle when it comes to that. But yeah, like OG is just overall individually like a monster team. They're all super good individually.
Yeah, they are. It's really interesting to see because a lot of these players, I mean, the creep wave stack that a lot of these players came from was strong in Division 2 EU last season, but that was just Division 2, and they became quite low in one season, and they didn't get promoted the season after. So for them to go to that, which is not no shambles of a place to be, to being a team who can take down Team Spirit in a game. Obviously, this is a series that is ongoing, that we're not yet declaring them an incredible team, but it is still a big step up from being a Division 2 team into being kind of contenders, like Division 1 stalwarts. Do you find that impressive stepping up like that, or do you think that's not that unusual for young players to be given big chances and take them?
I kind of think that being thrown into the mix like this, especially right now, like I think, is it fair to say that they kind of got lucky that the patch didn't drop before this season, and they've, it's a patch that they can feel comfortable in because it's been around for so long that they can now be thrown into a position like this and have success in something that they're a little bit comfortable with. Like I don't know if we'd be seeing the same if there was a patch and they got thrown into this position. So OG
You mean
coming
for OG,
in,
right?
yeah, for OG.
Yeah.
Like I wonder where they would be if we saw a patch before that. But and they've definitely proven themselves, at least so far. And if they take this series, like OG all of a sudden become #1 in the world, and everybody's got this high expectations of them, that
Yeah,
could almost be detrimental.
Yeah, I got something like a very personal experience when it comes to that, unfortunately, which is when I played in VG, I played against Sumail, who I don't know was like 15 years at the time, maybe 15 years old, and he kind of made a fool of us in the grand final of a Chinese tournament, and his like interviews like, yeah, the game was easy, I didn't really have to try too hard, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, like it just feels like these, I was gonna call them kids, like they have nothing they're afraid of, you know? Like I was like 20 at the time. I'm like, yeah, I felt the pressure here and there. I couldn't tell at all about him. Like he just goes on stage, like a couple of thousand people. Yeah, the game was kind of easy. I didn't have to try too hard. Pretty simple. Like I just want to like strangle him, you know. But that's the power of youth. Like you're not afraid of anything, and you can tell in the way they're playing. Like the entire team was dead, or like 3 of the players were dead, and the Quap and the TA are trying to make a play by themselves. Sure, ends up backfiring. They lose a hero, but like that means they're really fearless, and I think that's really important for a team like that.
You were a TI pro player at pretty young, Black. I think. How old were you when you played at your first TI?
Probably like 18, 19.
Did you feel like that you kind of were invincible, or were you more were you scared of death at such a young age?
I think I was past the threshold, you know, where I had a couple of big tournaments already where I was really fearless. I played really well up to my standard, and some TIs I was like, oh my god, what the hell is happening? What is like the air pressure is like, what the hell, you know? It's
maybe you were.
It's very
old.
different. Yeah, it is very different. Like after you have some success, the feeling of fear can easily creep in, you know, like maybe not fear, but like the pressure of, oh my god, this one mistake could cost my team the entire game, and if I make that, oh my god, I don't want to make any mistakes. And you play like super passively, not up to your standard at all. You don't play the map properly, and everybody will be like, what happened to him? You know, like, why is he so scared? It's like nerves do play a big role in tournaments.
I guess when you're 16, you've got kind of your whole life ahead of you. And if there's any 16-year-olds watching, you can make so many mistakes right now, and nothing really matters that much. Don't kill anyone. But apart from that, you can mess up and you'll be fine. Whereas if you're kind of 28, 30, you can make mistakes, but especially in Dota, it begins to become the point where a serious mistake or a game mess up will impact your career in a more severe way. So there's definitely something for older players to consider like that. So that resonates with me, Black. We've got a draft, though, coming up right now with plenty of mistakes to be made in this, with OG picking up their Weaver, Tiger's Weaver, and Team Spirit going with their classic Bane and Monkey King. Talk me through these early picks, Black.
Yeah, obviously, Tiger's Weaver did God's work last game. Always kept them on their toes, pushed out all the lanes, kept so many heroes busy. I'm a little bit surprised that they just picked this Monkey King. Makes me think they might want to potentially play it as a support, because it doesn't really strike me as great against just the Weaver. Like, they don't see anything. And of course, Miposhka's Bane is it fair to say that he's probably the best Bane right now?
What makes him so good as a Bane? Because Bane just stands there. He doesn't do anything. You press a button and you sit around. What makes him a particularly good Bane?
Last game, he just found so many setups. Like, he was playing the bottom map by himself. He gets to sleep. His teammates TP in. And like, oh, thanks for the free kill, says Yatoro. And it happened like 3 or 4 times. He's just really aware of where the enemy wants to play, and he's setting up perfectly for that.
What are we looking for OG to pick up alongside this Weaver then? What sort of 1-2 punch are they going for?
I wouldn't mind the Lion again, but I don't know if you're going to pick both supports that early like that. They didn't do it in the previous draft. They waited for the Lion in the 4th pick, so I wonder if they're going to go with an offlaner first.
Same draft as before, huh?
Yeah.
Except I think
They
OG
didn't have a
was.
waiver last game, did they?
Turn to
Oh, they did. They did.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, OG I think was second pick of the last game, if I remember correctly. And then they picked the Monkey King to counter the Night Stalker. But now they kind of picked the Night Stalker into the Monkey King, maybe trying to bait them into the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
There's some mind games going on.
10 seconds.
What sort of bans
remaining.
then? OG already banning out the Luna. So do they think that's a mid
5
monkey? It
seconds
seems like an
remaining.
unusual ban to me.
I do think that OG expects that Monkey King is just going to be a support this time because last game it didn't work out at all for them.
Oh, yeah,
so they're
support,
probably
yeah.
just expecting the change to happen. So these carry bans make a lot of sense. You just want to ban out strong carries that can cause Night Stalker a lot of problems. You also have the night vision against Night Stalker, which can be very strong.
Fair enough. And what sort of things do Team Spirit need to ban out?
I wouldn't mind banning. You ban the Lion here, or is it even worse? Yeah, you gotta focus mid. Maybe get rid of the Kunkka as well. Especially if you've got a hero like Monkey King who wants to move around a little bit. If they're gonna go like Void Spirit mid, I guess OG will ban the Kunkka themselves. But they've been focusing BZM quite a bit with their bans. Wouldn't be surprised to see all three of these bans be towards the mid.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't mind like a Lion ban as you suggested because it was really a big problem from last game. Like the instant initiations on the OD couldn't get his BKB off. And Lion has just been a strong pick for so long, so I wouldn't mind the ban at all.
Various pickups. They're going with the Invoker, taking out BMZ's Invoker, BZM's Invoker, sorry, on Team Spirit. So targeting that mid lane at this point.
Yeah,
Makes
but
sense.
everybody is always telling me how good his Invoker is, but I can't ever see it because it's always banned. Like literally every
Real
game,
shame.
it's always banned.
He's a scare. Have you seen it in pubs at all? Do you know what he does particularly scarily on it?
I have not, unfortunately. I got to admit, because I was like in the SEA region and China region for the longest time, I didn't actually know that BZM was even like that highly regarded in pubs and everything. So when I first saw him play, I was like, whoa, that kid's good. Really good.
I think it's good against the Bane as well. You kind of want that long range disable against the Bane, an easy way to take him out. So it certainly makes sense there to take out the Invoker and the Storm, two perfect heroes to take down a Brain Grip as well. So that I guess those bans make perfect sense. Of OG banning out, presumably. Oh no, they're banning out that Batrider again. They banned that again. Last time they banned that this pick as well.
They did, and I still don't quite understand why. Because yeah, just like last game, it doesn't strike me as like the best pick or anything. Weaver and Night Stalker are quite good against it. But you know, maybe they just they agreed to replay the same drafts and bans to see if it was a fluke or not.
Run it back.
Yeah, run it back.
How are you feeling about these drafts so far, Bcop?
I mean, if so far, if they're the same, I got a edge towards OG. But like you said, with the two bans of the Invoker as well as the Storm, it's trying to protect the Bane. And we were talking about how what are things that Miposhka does really well. It's his positioning when he's making things happen, when he's getting the Fiend's Grip, when he's getting the Nightmare, making sure that he's trying to be in a bit of an obscure position. So if somebody were to jump in, they don't immediately stop the Fiend's Grip or the control that he's got. So I'm wondering if maybe Spirit right here, maybe ban out the Void Spirit, something that goes mid, something that jumps, potentially get on top of the Bane and control him and stop if he's got that Fiend's Grip. Right now, yeah, it's just those long range bids that have kind of that reach to stop the control that Team Spirit have.
Yeah, I think Team Spirit has like two routes that could go here, which is either they do the Monkey King Bane again, but this time they got to play the lane a little bit better because Night Stalker got way too much last game, or they actually pick a carry that in the mid-late game can protect the Bane from the Night Stalker. Like a PA, you just jump the Night Stalker, as he jumps the Bane, you can kill him in that BKB duration, which last game in the late game teamfights I couldn't do at all.
They spent a long time on that third ban. They do ban out that Quap, I guess. Scared of that carry again. They really want to protect this Bane, though.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
they do.
I think the Quap gave Bane a little bit of problems at the end of the game, a game that went on so long where he's got that spell block at that level 25. There were a few fights at the end that Miposhka had Fiend's Grip into the spell block, and they maybe don't want to deal with that and don't want to deal with the Queen of Pain also having that reach as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy mechanic. You can have like double link and stuff like that. Like, you gotta enfeeble first, and then brain sap, and then like
5
ult, and it's
seconds
never gonna happen.
remaining.
Like a Quap is not just gonna AFK and get gripped. But his SF is a very interesting hero. Like if he doesn't get off to a good laning stage, can be a very big problem. Because the Night Stalker, once he gets like a BKB Blink Basher, can cause hell for the Shadow Fiend. And there we go with the line again.
I want to talk more about this Shadow Fiend. We've seen it once in this tournament so far, and a little bit across the DPC as well. Team Nigma lost with it in this tournament. I think it's done quite well in the DPC.
10 seconds
I know it's been
remaining.
played a lot as a carry. Do you expect it to be a carry here? Is this Toronto
5
Tokyo
seconds remaining.
Yotoro's hero, or is it going to be moving on to that mid lane with Toronto Tokyo?
I would definitely like to see it more as a carry. Like mid lane SF just seems too fragile. Like SF safe lane with a mid hero that actually moves like a Void Spirit makes much more sense, because end of the day, if you do that mid lane SF, you are practically running 2 carries, right? Which I think is most of the time a pretty big problem, unless you want to run like a safe lane Ember or Void Spirit yourself. Tinker. All right.
Interesting one. Picking up the nasty heroes. First time we've seen that this tournament. That's an interesting one. Why would you pick up the Tinker here? Because that's a bit of a change of pace.
Yeah, the synergy with Night
10
Stalker is insane, though.
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Just
And
because
the
of the
mobility,
vision, I
too.
assume.
Yeah.
5
Sorry to
seconds
interrupt, Beacon.
remaining.
It's the vision, it's the mobility. Like he farms really well. I'm worried for this Shadow Fiend. Like his BKB timing is gonna be really important in this game, and I'm scared he may not get there.
Yeah, and Night Stalker and Tinker are just so strong together, because a lot of the heroes that Tinker fears, like Storm, which is already banned, like Zeus, they don't want to play against Night Stalker at all. So they're going into the Beastmaster instead, which is a very good option against Tinker, because the Hawk can obviously scout him out against Night Stalker 2, and makes me believe it's going to be a Monkey 4 and Beastmaster 3. I quite like that, because once the Helm of Dominator is up, they can
10
really start pushing the
seconds
pace.
remaining.
With the SF aura level 15, affecting buildings, the attack speed aura from the
5
Beastmaster,
seconds remaining.
it's a very, very high-paced draft.
What mid laner do you need to round it up to keep that pace up?
Void Spirit, something like that.
I'd like the Void Spirit for Team Spirit, because if you're gonna get the Monkey King who's gonna be your support, you want to try and get vision from the trees and have that Void Spirit make that jump. Like he's trying to provide you
10
what he can to
seconds remaining.
maybe get on top of the Tinker. So if they can go to the Void Spirit, he gets on top of the
5
Tinker, has
seconds
say that
remaining.
Yule's into the Remnant. Maybe they can get the control and try to nullify what this Tinker brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another hero I could see potentially is a Puck. It's a pretty strong option too.
Yeah.
Or potentially even like a Dragon Knight if you want to really go all in into the pace.
Banning out the Phoenix, though. That's a curious one. Is that
Phoenix.
Monkey? Do they think it's going to perhaps be a Monkey mid
Or Carry Monkey still in the
of
In the
SF
heads.
mid? Yeah, one of the two mid.
10 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
And it makes also sense because Supernova has priority over everything. So
5
Night Stalker pops down, as you pop
seconds
Supernova, it's still going to be day. Which could potentially cause them a lot of problems.
Mm.
I mean, the ban makes sense. It's just, I personally would have expected Spirit to move away from the Carry Monkey. So let's see what they do.
Ban out the Medusa. What carry do you want OG to pick up here? Any predictions? You got no seconds at all. They're going to pick up the Chen.
Ooh.
That's a curious one. Does that mean a carry Weaver?
Or a Carry Night Stalker, an offlane Chen perhaps?
I mean, I know Misha plays a lot of Chen, so
Alright, so it's probably a 5 Chen then.
10
And-
seconds remaining.
And 4 Lion and a Carry Weaver. Could be an
5
offlane Weaver
seconds remaining.
too, I
Although-
guess.
Go the Black
Carry
Stream
Night
special. Go Lion mid.
Dude, Lion mid is something I would die for.
and then a
You
what
may now
Tinker?
select your
Slada?
Is this a one
What
sword?
is happening?
I think this is a one
The one
Slada.
Slada.
Yotoro's picking that up. Tiger's picking up the Lion. Amar's picking up the Night Stalker. Carry Weaver. These are two interesting little drafts coming up here. Black, talk me through the OG draft first of all. What do you think this draft is accomplishing?
First of all, their vision game is super strong with the Night Stalker and Weaver beetles in team fights. You have like the rocket spam and a lot of sustain too from the Chen. Like if you ever find a frost armor ogre against a Slada minus armor lineup. I think it's going to be super strong. I got to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of this last pick Slaughter here. Like, if this Tinker gets a good start, I don't know how to really deal with him.
And Bcop, why don't you talk me through the Team Spirit draft? If Black doesn't like the Slardar, why do you think they've picked it up? What does this draft try and accomplish?
I wonder if the Sardar is for that extra control. I think one of the things that me and Black I used to talk about during the DPC last year was not really liking the double blink, where I think maybe Collapse as well as the Sardar might need a blink at some point because you're spending a lot of gold on mobility. I'm a little worried that Sardar, yeah, he wants to have that control by having the Slithering Crush as well as the Bash, but he needs a couple of items I would prefer before that blink if he's going to get one. I'm hoping that this game's a lot closer than the first game and more like the second game, but I'm a little worried about this Spirit lineup. But I can't count that team out. Like, it's just I could never be like, oh, it's 80-20 OG. But like I always think this is, at least right now, I feel like this is still 50-50 up in the air because Spirit's going to pull something out.
Do you agree, Black? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I do think they will have to control this Tinker. Like, if he gets up to like an Axe, Shiva's Guard, and Overwhelming Blink, I don't know what to do. They do have the right tools to push the pace. They have the SF Aura, the Beast Aura, the minus armor to get the Roshan super fast. No hero is ever gonna really feel tanky against them. Because they have like what, minus 27 armor or something crazy like that. If they build a desert, it's like minus 33. Nobody tanks through that. So there is a lot of potential there. I'm just worried about the lanes and then in transition to the mid game.
Okay, well, talking about blink daggers, you at home shouldn't even blink because this is going to be an exciting game with two interesting drafts by two interesting teams, and we're going to hand over to two interesting casters. It's Nomad and Lizard.
Interesting casters sounds like some kind of, backhanded insult, but I'm sure he meant it in the best of ways.
Yeah, of course. We are the interesting casters. You have, like, when someone else is casting the handsome this and the godly that, we're interesting.
It's like when you ask somebody, like, yeah, do you like my cast? And they go,
it's interesting.
It's interesting. But
all right.
I didn't have to hear a word of what they said because I was just staring at Black's cat the entire time. But we have this game underway with some very spicy drafts indeed. And we're going to start things off with BZM here. Probably dying. He's gone here, right?
It should be. Really nice blocks by Miposhka. And it feels like in this series, on this stairs, someone always dies. There's a first bloodshed here, like 2 games in a row. And in that first game, a courier died, plus they were forced to use 2 souls. When it comes to these drafts, how do you feel like?
I think I really like what Team Spirit's doing. I mean, I've actually watched a ton of Yutoro Slada. He used to play this like in about a couple of months, I think, before TI, in the gap before the Animajor. He was playing Slada a ton, and he'd go for this build where he just kind of goes, rushes the boots, Travelers you're seeing here, and then he'd go, Power Treads, and then he would go for Midas very quickly, and then just play around the map and just kind of use the Midas to keep up in farm whilst brawling all the time. It was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot, so hopefully we see him going for that build. But yeah, a lot of anti-armor on this team, right? A lot of damage coming out. Yeah, very, very cool draft from Team Spirit, I think.
What I really like is what panel actually Black said in the last sentence. There's a ton of synergy with the SF, a ton of minus armor. I think they can make Toronto Tokyo into this beast that just melts everyone and the towers, right? But then again, OG, the top lane, I guess should be fine. OG overall responded to their drafts really well. This Misha Chen, it's kind of obvious why they picked it, right? It's versus the Beastmaster as well. He will have a way of dealing with the beasts if he even skills them as he's playing versus the Chen. One thing that I'm worried for Team Spirit is on Beastmaster you don't go for Blink, right? You go for the Helm of the Overlord. But at the same time you're playing versus Nightstalker. Like, I'm gonna be feeding him some tasty creeps.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He can eat them up, can't he, with that shard? So, well, that's kind of cool. Got a good thinking there. I don't know. I mean, and of course Misha Chen as well. We can't look over that. He's of course played a lot of Chen games in his career. Second most played hero, 58 games with a 65% win rate. So when he whips out the Chen, you know that he's taking things seriously.
Yeah, he whipped out the Harpy, and that Harpy is now in the mid lane. If SF wasn't annoyed enough by playing versus damn Tinker, now he has to play versus a Harpy as well. Misha needs to be careful not to... you see, Toronto is doing a really good thing here. He's sticking right next to the range creep. In case the Harpy zips him, he will deny the range creep instantly after.
Ah.
You see? They're even pinging it out on OG.
Yeah. Doesn't quite work out, but yeah, still really nicely nicely played by Toronto Tokyo. Just a bit of micro gameplay there. Sneaky.
He can't approach this lane.
These rockets
he
are so
literally-
obnoxious. with
It's
the
rocket
Harpy
and
as
then
well.
chain lightning. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Doesn't even get a chance to see if they can even the score with BZM here. It's well, the score isn't even actually. It was 1-1, and now well, we don't know who's going to win this mid lane because Chen's just messing it all up. But... Cool stuff. All right. So let's talk about this top lane then. Of course, we've got Amar playing on the Night Stalker again. Is this just OG's answer to the Bane?
Well, it looked like in that first game, in that second game that is, right? They answered the Bane really well with the Night Stalker. It worked out for them, so why not pick it again? This time, did they really adjust to it? I don't feel like they have. Like, you do have Roar versus him. And it's BKB piercing too. So that's kind of nice, right? Like, you'll be able, the moment Night Stalker jumps in and goes on that Bane, if the Beastmaster has the BKB, he'll be able to pop the Roar on the Night Stalker, and then you can actually turn on him. So that's definitely a play later on.
Okay. So they have a better answer than last time and something to neutralize the vision game as well, which I felt was really important in the last game.
Yeah, I feel like it's way easier this time. Like last time they had the OD as an answer, but it's a bit more difficult to utilize your spells. Here you just point and click that Roar and that's it.
Point and click adventure. Always fun to
Glad.
play a nice game like that. It's been slapped pretty hard here. No kill potential, but we'll still get him into the tower. But so far, OG's lane's going absolutely brilliantly.
Top lane, Taiga. You called it brilliantly and they instantly feed. Why'd you do this, Nomad? Like, every single game.
Sorry, OG. Sorry, guys.
What kind of a sicko are you? You're just, just...
I'm
making-
using my curse for good. I'm making the game, this laning phase nice and equal.
I see. Well, SF is just fighting the jungle right now. He's given up on the mid lane. That Harpy is still on mid. Like,
Dude, it chased him when he went to get the bounty rune. It chased him here. Like it's kind of like one of those horror movies where like you go to look out your window and you just think you see something. Like, did I see a Harpy there? Like, no, it's just the tree. It can't be here. Then he goes around the corner. He goes to the next jungle camp and it's there again. Whoa, what?
it's reminiscing of the patch when you would always send the Harpy or the Wildkin. Wildkin was even worse. Like that, you just see him in the distance channeling that tornado and following you around. It was never a lot of fun.
All right, what's Yatoro going for? Did I call it right, or has he changed up his build
Yeah.
since then? Oh, there it is. There it is. Midas
You were,
in the
you were
quick
correct.
buy?
And
Thank you,
it's
thank
one
you.
of those heroes where Midas is actually really nice. Same like on Doom, right? Like you benefit a lot from the
Oh,
bonus
great stun
attack
from
speed.
Tiger. Catching out Yatoro there on the very tip of the stun, and this might just be a kill for Amar and Tiger, although juking around the trees and Yatoro with the sprint, he's going to get his way back under the tower. He is absolutely hunky-dory.
And there's also a salve, there's also 2 mangoes on Miposhka, so he'll be completely fine here. Gets back to almost full HP, and now maybe can even go on Amar. It's nighttime, so it's kind of difficult to zone out the Night Stalker at the moment.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Look at the stacks on OG, like they're really on point. So many ancient stacks, so many hard camp stacks. This Tinker is gonna have some fun there.
Dire's middle tower is under
He
attack.
sure is. Tinker can take agents with laser, right?
Yeah,
Cool. No, easy then. He's going to have a great time. He's already having a great time in the mid lane. Man, this Chen is basically supporting the mid lane and the bottom lane at the same time. It's quite impressive.
yeah. Now he's bringing the Harpy and this little pesky Mud Golem bottom. They are
Yeah.
going on Uragi though.
Well, they are, but he's just going to turn around. He's got the stun available and the lightning and just all this damage pumping out into Mirror. Oh, great usage there to split up the golem for the double stun, but it's not quite enough. The Fairy Fire keeps Mirror alive. The Monkey King will get himself back, but some really nice micro plays coming out there from Misha. I mean, We expect the best from him from this Chen, and that is what he's giving us.
I'm just worried about this build really on Beastmaster. Like, he didn't adjust to the fact that he's playing versus Night Stalker and Chen. You're still going for this Helm of Dominator. I guess you don't really have too many options in the current meta with the Beastmaster. But doesn't Chen just... He can still take that creep, right? Doesn't he just take the creep, and doesn't Night Stalker just buy the shard later on? We'll see. Collapse will probably take some towers before that happens, yeah.
So BZM just took the Ancient Camp by smoking up in front of it and just lasering it down with Rearm with an Arcane Rune. Never seen that before, but that is very cool. I mean, look at his net worth now. He is just ridiculous. I mean, Team Spirit, they sniff something's going wrong. Oh, BZM. He gets himself out. Toronto Tokyo is going to take this hard stack by the looks of it.
At least that, right? Like, I mean, not at least. It's a 5 stack. It's a lot of creeps, a lot of farm for Toronto Tokyo. But man, if they were just a little bit faster, they would have killed the Tinker, who now kills the Beastmaster instead.
Yep, cause and effect. You know, if they were able to kill the Tinker there, then Collapse wouldn't die in the bottom lane. But there we go. They don't get the kill, and now they get punished for it. And this tower is going to take a ton of damage in the process as well.
Playing Toro. Tinker did TP. He has a blink already, by the way.
Oh my god, yeah, that Ancient stack gets him the 8-minute blink tagger. Are you kidding me? That is insanely fast.
Bane catches Tinker now.
As Mirror turned up to this one as well, the whole gang is here. Can OG defend him? Well, they're going to just take down Maposhka straight off the bat, but BCM, I think his time might be limited, and Yutoro is going to be the one to pick up this kill. And now the damage comes through thick and fast onto Amar, but they are low on the Dire Heroes. Can they finish off Amar? He's running through the trees. He's going to get out, and Mirror's going to be the one that dies instead. Oh my goodness, Amar gets out on a tiny fraction of his HP pool. But if you live, you live.
Yeah, really nicely played by Uragi there, actually realizing that he doesn't have to be bottom anymore, it's even dangerous. So he rotates top, gets 2 kills for the life of his Tinker. Really well played. And I love as well at the same time how Yatoro he went into the Tinker and the Night Stalker, even though the silence was still there. He just stand up, he didn't care, he went for the kill. And it's the right call, because they needed to punish BZM a little bit.
Yep. Can't let him get carried away with this game. Meanwhile, they found Misha in the jungle, but with this Tinker behind him, they really don't want to go for this. They just want to back themselves away. Those rockets, they're doing so much on Maposhka's HP. Just 4 rounds of rockets, and he's going to be dead, throwing a void as well, and that'll make it 3. The Toronto Tokyo is still just trying to bottle his way through this, but the rocket spam with Amar just being... He's a drone. He's not even playing a hero at this point. He's just giving vision. UAV online as Amar is going to be able to take down Toronto Tokyo. Well, BZM is. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, those are some long-seeking missiles right there. When you have a Night Stalker, it's same like the Bounty Hunter, right? Yeah. Mid lane, Mira.
Did he get off the rearm? He didn't get off the rearm, and that's going to allow Mira to survive there. Actually, holding the Boundless Strike for the very last second of the channel duration saved his life, so nice heads-up play from him.
Nicely played. It's just that every time there's nighttime, Night Stalker will follow you around and you'll be rocketed to your death. Like, you need to find a BKB as soon as possible on your course. But SF doesn't even have Dragonlance yet. I mean, it's 10-minute mark. You can't expect for way more than that. But the Tinker with the Blink Dagger is already being a big problem.
Yeah, I feel like this is a strat which OG have been sitting on for a while, and they were just like, hey, you know what? We stand a chance to maybe take a series of Team Spirit here. Let's whip it out. Show off our Tinker. Tinker Chen. The Night Stalker in the mix as well feels very, very oppressive. And they've got so much vision as well. It's not just a Night Stalker, it's the Weaver as well, with Sakuchi to get in the backlines and Bugs to keep the vision tracking going. These rockets are just going to be so hard to play into as Yutoro has to leave the top lane. It is 11 minutes, it's okay.
As you mentioned, this Weaver as well is giving a lot of info. Even though he's a carry, the Swarm will be extremely useful. Right, like you just cast it and then the Tinker can spam out his heat-seeking missiles. Hawk is going to prevent Tinker from perhaps like being in all his Tinker spots in the trees, but at the moment they don't really have any follow-up for that, so it's hard to kill the Tinker.
Yeah, it's very difficult. But that said, everything considered, it's still a pretty close laning phase. It's only a 1k gold advantage for OG. Tinker did have this amazing start, which has catapulted him ahead a bit. But, you know, Amar's still not super farmed. He's pretty far behind the Beastmaster in that regard, so they do make up for it in some aspects on Team Spirit.
Here now with the full Maelstrom. The moment you get this, you can start farming the Ancients as well. The triangle is game, and you can start ramping up that farming speed. And
oh, Misha. Yeah, it's just a dead Chen. Fair enough. They managed to catch him out in the jungle. Probably not who they were looking for, but they'll take it regardless.
they didn't use anything, right? No roar, no big spells, items. Meanwhile, what OG is doing really, really damn well this game is stacks. Like, they've been stacking this triangle like mad. Like, there's already, what, a 4-stack? 3-stack?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4-stack, yeah.
Yeah, won't be stacking it again here. Maybe he will actually, maybe he's still in the right time. Meanwhile, though, BZM's just going to make sure they don't push in the mid lane, but I don't imagine Team Spirit are actually going to make a play on BZM here. Feels super risky to do so. Monkey's just bouncing around looking for some information more than anything. That's exactly what he'll do. Ooh. Oh, what information he's giving here.
Yeah.
Radiant are scanning.
But that's a full smoke broken up by him, but now they know he jumped. They saw him.
Deforestation going on right now. Tiger's going to catch him out with the stun, but they don't have the right tree again, so Mira's going to be able to bounce himself away to safety. That is 3 heroes occupied for about 30 seconds.
But then Tiger actually had tangos, and Damar had the Quelling Blade. They just didn't use it fast enough to cut more trees. I believe they cut only the one, right? And it wasn't the right one, sadly, for them.
In that moment, yeah. Unfortunately, didn't quite grab it. They can see where the spike is. They know the general area, but getting it exactly right proved a bit tricky for them. So
The game definitely slowed down a bit, right? Like, it's a bit more chill now.
Yeah, it did. It did. Have to do some actual commentating here, Lizard, rather than just talking about what's happening in front of our eyes. That's annoying.
Well, the Chen did steal another dominated creep, so that's what just happened in front of my eyes, and I
Hooray! Tiger got the tree. There we go. We get to kill
got
Mira
it.
now. There we go.
You can keep your magic. I have
He's still going for the Overlord. I guess, you know, the utility that the item brings is just way too high not to take it. So
Yeah, that does seem to be the choice. Also, when you get those Ancients, the Chen can't take Ancients for a while, right?
yeah, Chen can't, but you can eat them with the shard right around
Oh, you
that
can.
20-minute mark,
Oh dear.
Yeah.
All right.
which will be pretty damn sad for Collapse.
Okay, so
once
when we
that
get to the
starts
20-minute mark, then both the Chen and the Nightstalker will be able to eat his creeps. So you got 20 minutes, you got 6 minutes actually, 5 minutes to make this Helm of the Overlord pay off. Better see some magic happening. Meanwhile, Little Tower will
Step it
fall,
up,
Uraki
Collapse.
comes in and grabs it. Yeah.
Well, he needs what? Just 1,200 gold more. So
Oh,
it's
he
gonna
doesn't
be
have it
like
yet.
around that 18-minute mark probably.
All right. 2 minutes then to make that pay off. No pressure, bro.
minutes,
You got this.
I mean, it's like, on paper, it works the way we're saying. You just take the creep away, right? Top lane, BZM, all that.
Yep, they've got him, but at the same time, do they really have him? Because there's no one here to follow up, and the Poach is actually just going to get punched in the face instead by Amar. Goes down to BZM. It's, you know, it feels good as the Bane to catch the Tinker like that, but he couldn't just let his prey go, you know? He should have
Yeah,
just backed
that's
away, but
Rush.
he was like, man, we wanna kill this guy,
Instantly
so
afterwards. Because of that kill, right? Like, with the Bane, you can sleep him, and he was doing that in the last game.
Radiant's bottom tower is
He would sleep the target around those stairs, and then there would be a follow-up. But this time around, like, he's even doing it during night, so just feeds afterwards.
Yep. First round of the game goes to Uragi. We'll have that Ages of Immortality for the next fight. That's going to be pretty scary for Team Spirit to fight into. Any chance of killing this Weaver is now pretty much none. They don't have the lockdown outside of the Bane. And actually, they've got Bane and Raw. They can do it, but through 2 lives, it's going to be very difficult with a team behind them.
Yeah, Bane, Roar, Toronto Tokyo will have that BKB now, but Mira
Oh my god.
will fall once again, yep.
are fortified. Dire's top tower is under
We
attack.
really haven't seen anything from this SF. Like, I know it's this right-click SF build. It's not like yours. It's not supposed to be magic damagey. But
Stupid.
I don't know, like I expect to see some kind of attempt with Requiem, but Toronto Tokyo, he's just not really feeling like he can make any plays here.
Well, he might. No, he won't feed mid. Well, look, this game is like not a game for SF at the moment. Before you get the BKB, you literally cannot play this game. So what he decided to do is just stay back and farm it up is definitely the right
He's got
course
it.
of action.
He disassembled his Dragon Lance.
Exactly. Now that he has it, he can start making moves. Or maybe they'll make a move on him.
Yeah, let's see, let's see. He's not holding it back. He's happy to show this BKB off to them and say, okay, let's look.
It's a game in which SF obviously isn't the tankiest hero. And in a game in which you're playing versus the Night Stalker that gets on top of you and then Tinker just kills you off. Tinker has full Shivas, by the way.
And in they go. It's Team Spirit's turn to make a play as they jump onto Amar here. They'll stun him up with the right clicks from Yatoro, and they will be able to get this kill. Tinker arriving a little too late to pump out those rockets to force them away, and that will just be a clean kill onto the OG offlaner.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Jumping in, Yuragi shoving in this top wave, but of course has the Aegis. And that is one of the things which the Aegis allows you to do, you know? It's somewhat of a farming tool in some regards, in that you can farm very aggressively, not be too worried about the team going on you, because you'll have that backup behind you.
Yeah, exactly. It allows you to sometimes greed out with the item build as well. Perhaps allows you to skip a BKB that you would usually buy and you can buy a Dragon Lance or something similar. Not in this situation, he's still stuck with his same item build that he would have gone for anyway. He is getting closer to Linken's, which is nice. Top lane, Poshka.
Yeah, he's been peppered a bit by creeps, by a Tinker, you know, just sending in the little army, the Chen army. And Misha will be the one to finish the job there. But in comes Toronto Tokyo. He's popping the big ultimate right down onto BZM's face. There's no way out for him. The Tinker is gone. And that is the first big wrecking of the game we have seen. But OT aren't done. They're looking for Mira on the sideline. They're probably going to be able to get him here as Amar pops that ultimate and gets on top of that Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend, what can he really do? Toronto Tokyo is just being peppered by poor old Yuragi as he smashes him apart, but in comes a roar from Collapse, but they have finished off the kill. There's a finger comes out from Tiger to kill off Toronto Tokyo. Yuragi, time-lapse just in time. But meanwhile, there's a grip out onto Amar. They found another one, Team Spirit. They are making this fight work for them right now as Yuragi going for the TP away. They do have the vision, but they don't have the interrupt. Yuragi gets out, but a huge fight for the side of Team Spirit as they take down everyone except that Aegis carrier, and followed up by a pause as well.
Yeah, the two of their supports were kind of forced to buy back there in the end, and they didn't kill the Weaver. Nightmare was still on like a 1.5 seconds cooldown, but really well played by SF to TP straight into Tinker's face and use that Requiem. I feel it for Miposhka in this game because you're playing versus a Chen. You're playing versus like one of the hardest heroes to play as Bane. You absolutely do nothing to the creeps. You cannot push waves versus all the creeps, and once they scout you out, the Chen can just send them at you, and you can't use that Nightmare or Fiend's Grip if they're following you and stunning you with the Centaur and whatnot. Still though, OG, they went a little bit too deep there with the Tinker. Perhaps he should have remained on the high ground. If he remains on the high ground, like there is no way SF gets close enough to utilize that Requiem very well.
So, very heads-up play from the Shadow Fiend, but slight misjudgment there from the Tinker as well, going a little too deep, perhaps.
Yeah, all set up by this ward that you see on the cliff right next to the outpost. It's an old ward from Team Spirit, and it gave exact vision of the Tinker. As well, I have to commend Mira for playing really well in that fight. He was just so patiently waiting for the SF to TP and then to strike onto the Tinker together with him.
He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew exactly who he was looking for. And he found it. He found it, setting up beautifully with his team now. Team Spirit bait the trap, and they get themselves a fight. And it's a really, really close game at this point, but with that big team fight going the way of Team Spirit, I think it's very much even once again. Even though this Aegis does belong to Yuragi, I'm just not sure they're going to be able to make anything happen with it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's close, but if you have a tier 2 to TP on a Tinker, you know?
Yes.
Like, I think in any other scenario, that fight wouldn't look that close. Like, Team Spirit is 1k ahead, but it doesn't really feel that way. Like, the items that they have, like this Helm of Overlord, on that's pretty much all of the net worth from Beastmaster can be negated by OG in 2 seconds. It's, as you can see, Chen has queued up the Aghanim's shard.
Yep.
And
Let's check out
Nightstalker.
Nightstalker. What's he got?
Actually, he's going for a different route. He's not buying the shard at the moment, it seems like.
All right. Trusts in the Chen to take care of business then, and he will go instead for the Blink Dagger just to get them further catch onto those pesky backline heroes. I mean,
do you like the
let's be
way
honest, it's the
he?
thing.
Do you like the way Amar itemized this time around? He's actually not going for the BKB because he realizes there's too many things that go through it, so he went just for a plate mail instead. Plate mail that's really good versus Slardar, versus summons as well, versus all the minus armor on Spirit.
Yeah, so like the way armor works, right? Like it's basically at 0, you know, +1 or -1 is going to be the highest impacting point of armor, and then every positive or minus from that is just going to be incrementally less impactful. So you want to
Yeah,
just
it diminishes a little bit, something like that.
Exactly. So you want to stay, you know, just a bit above 0 armor when you're playing against these heroes. It can be a very fine balance. We'll see exactly if he's able to keep himself in that threshold. Because if you don't, you're going to get smashed down very, very quickly by these heroes. The damage is going to look absolutely ridiculous when they get to that point. Like, if they're wailing on a hero which has no armor items, then they are just going to get squashed.
And there's just so many things, right? The SF Aura, the Corrosive Haze, then you have Orb of Corrosion on Monkey King. Like, there's just so much right-click damage if they get to right-click.
Yeah, for sure. And Team Spirit, they're feeling pretty enabled right now. They're going to go for the tier 1 tower in the middle lane, knowing that this Aegis has now run out. They have this Golem up due to that Helm of the Dominator. The Chen can't really get it close enough to think, but they're just going to drop everything onto the Shadow Fiend, but the Nightmare's going to save him. He pops the BKB, looks for the turnaround as they're able to blow up Hamar here. The misfire from OG, they don't protect the tower. They lose their offlaner, and Team Spirit lose absolutely nothing for that one.
It's just such a damn great performance in that teamfight from Team Spirit. You know, you count them out, you feel like, okay, it's very difficult for them to fight off the Stinker. And then suddenly he doesn't look that scary after one single fight. Keep in mind that Weaver wasn't a part of it. So that's a big deal for Team Spirit, obviously. They were fighting against the team without their carry.
Yeah. Look at Mira here. He's so unafraid of this Tinker. He just jumps in and kills off his creep wave. So, another thing I think is important to mention as well is that when you have this Granite Golem up with that Helm of the Overlord, the percentage HP increase is going to be really nice playing against this Tink. You know, all those squishy heroes which take like 2 rockets and are suddenly out of the fight, suddenly have an extra bit of HP to work with. You know, it allows them to tank 1 more round of rockets. That is the difference maker when you're playing against Tinker, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Until Chen takes that Granite Golem away.
Yep. And then you don't have 15% HP, and the enemy team do have 50% HP.
Then it kind of turns around against you.
Yes, you might feel like a bit of a wally in that situation, but he didn't take it that fight, couldn't get close enough. You know, if you're close enough to steal that Ancient, then you might be close enough to be punched in the face by Yatoro, so...
There's a smoke, I think, happening here from Team Spirit, and they do have everything they need to actually take a good fight. I think they need to bite a bigger thing than Taiga, though. Frog. Frog in a round.
Frog, monkey, frog. Oh, that was a Hawk coming in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's going to stun up Tiger, and that's going to get them the kill onto the line.
Hiragi.
Now this is a much bigger target. They've got the sleep, they've got the Requiem. He does just to get off the Sakuchi, but it's not going to save his life. Hiragi gets dropped. Great catch there. Team Spirit, you know, they knew that they only needed a couple of heroes to bring down one, and they immediately go looking for whoever else was nearby, and they find
Are we
the best
witnessing?
possible target.
Are we witnessing a complete turnaround? Like the way that OG wants to fight this is they want to jump with the Night Stalker. That's literally what the hero does. Same what he was doing in that last game, right? But you cannot, not anymore. The moment there's roar, you just get roared and beaten down.
That's heals onto the Tinker. This Tinker's in trouble. This Tinker's in more than trouble. He's dead. BZM dead in the tree line, playing with a monkey. It goes horribly wrong. 60 seconds
Is this
on the
high
Tinker.
ground?
They're going for this Team Spirit.
Radiant's courier.
Okay, they killed the courier first, but this
5-man
should
courier
be...
gank. Good job.
Just literally every single hero went for it. Like,
Dude, they
it's
wanted
so
that courier.
important.
It's a Tinker's courier.
Maybe they saw something that we plebs didn't. Maybe the courier had a big item on it or something. Chen takes the dragon away.
There we go. Our Black Dragon now. And there's a Hex out onto the Shadow Fiend. Yuragi doing a decent amount of damage. His Linken's is now gone. Gotta be a little bit careful. It's Hamar on the sidelines. He's just getting ulted and punched by Yatoro. Another hero dead. Team Spirit, where does this momentum come from? They're just barreling down on the OG base. OG have to answer this. And now they go in. Tiger dropping the big. Oh, the BKB is going to purge off the finger damage. Not today, Tiger. And Toronto Tokyo just smashing away at the barracks non-stop. And it is gone. And they just back themselves away. Team Spirit, they do the damage. They try to get out. Now, OG, can they catch anything on the retreat? Tiger just running forwards here, throwing out the stuns. It's not landing. The potion going for the TP on the side. Toronto Tokyo leaving as well. They do catch out of the very least the Bane here. Mahoshka, though, playing ring around the tree. But he is going to lose his life. But I mean, one Bane for a barracks and a bunch of kills. Yeah, that's a good trade.
Not only for the barracks and a bunch of kills, it's the state of the game that you're in right now in Team Spirit. You figured them out. It feels like they figured out the way to play against this OG's draft. And it's on OG to switch things around. And I'm not sure just how can they do it because of the way they itemized. Like, we praised the Night Stalker, I praised him for this plate mill, but at the moment, you still die, you know, like, with it or without it, you still can't play the way you want to. This Blink Dagger is such a huge necessity for Amar. He needs to find a way to jump into the backlines, like he was doing in that last match.
Roshan, very biased in this series, by the way. He respawned instantly for Team Spirit earlier on. Now he respawns just as Tiger leaves the pit. I think the admins will have to investigate Roshan, do a bit of a interview,
yeah, we
just make sure.
We need the devs to take a look at this afterwards, just a little bit. But Collapse is sending his Hawk already inside, and I don't think that OG can take it in time.
I think you might be right. Oh, Tiger jumping in with the stun. He's very far forwards on this line, though. Amira's just going to instantly drop down the Wukong's command. He has caught Yuragi in the stun as well. Yuragi's trying to take down the Monkey King, but he's got that armor, but the rocket's coming through. I think he might be a goner. In comes Amar, though. The roar and the grip onto the Night Stalker. They don't want to let him get into this fight. The Poshka getting revenge for last game in a big, big way. 2 grips, 2 kills onto the Night Stalker, back to back.
He's had enough of him. And there is OG attempt into the pit. There is no grip, remember.
That's true. That's very, very true. Toro just trying to deal with these creeps here. Nightmare up the dragon. It's important, though, that you can control these creeps, because these are the ones getting vision for the Tinker Rockets, right?
Oh, definitely. They're still doing the rush. And it looks like Team Spirit, they want to contest this.
This is a messy Roche fight if ever I've seen one. Both teams coming around. They found the Tinker. Yule's out onto the Tinker. Can they bring him down? BZM go for the TP way. That's not going to happen, though. As Yutoro gets on top of him, takes him apart. Mirror is dead, but what does that matter as Tiger's going to go down as well, being beaten in. And now the ultimate coming out from Toronto Tokyo just to make sure they get the kills here and force them away from the area. But the Tinker, he's back with Yuragi as well. They're doing damage to Toronto Tokyo. I don't think he's got a way out of this one. Goodbye, Shadow Fiend. And hello, Collapse, as he's jumping on onto BZM, but he doesn't really have much health to work with here. Yeah, that doesn't work out too well for him, unfortunately. Amar still looking for more, but it's OG who are back into the pit. Yes, it costs them a fair few buybacks from the Tinker and the Night Stalker, but they are going to claim this Aegis for themselves.
Monkey King jumping around, maybe tries to snatch it with Boundless Strike. Just the kill, I mean. Yeah, that looked all right for Team Spirit, right? They went in, they contested it, they caught the Tinker. I guess they didn't count for the buyback. Because the moment Tinker buybacks, your teamfight is just so lost. He's jumping on the high ground. Everyone from Team Spirit was in the river, and he's just having a blast, sniping them off. Exactly the fight that OG needed, this rush fight, even with the buybacks.
Very good stuff. I mean, yeah, as we say, costly. They paid a price for it. Team Spirit forced them to pay a price, which means their lead they gain isn't quite as huge, but still really, really big. And they found BZM. This is a buyback Tinker. I mean, he has got an Aegis. His team needs to get here, and they need to get here now because BZM is losing his first life. Yatoro blinked a little bit awkwardly here, so couldn't actually right-click the Tinker, meaning he survives a little bit longer.
He can't hit
Yatoro
him.
still stuck in the trees, and now he finally blinks himself out as he starts pounding away at the Tinker, taking down to 400 HP, 100 HP, he turns it around, he's gonna live! And both the Team Spirit heroes die instead. Oh my goodness, that was close. Yeah, Team Spirit were coming in, but they are not anymore.
Brave, but
The rest of them are fine to get away, but that blink from the Slardar.
Yeah.
One tree separating him from that Tinker, and he literally cannot attack him because of it. That was just so unfortunate for the little fish.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why you don't see fish in forests, right?
Exactly, that's the main reason. Although there are some that climb trees and whatnot. Did you watch the...
Bosnia is a weird place too.
Ah, it's not... Maybe our TV is lying to me again, you know, just making fake fish. Making up stuff.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, with these two heroes dead, they will take this bottom tier 2 tower. Very nice for OG.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Dude, I mean, I kind of want to see that again. I kind of don't. Like, the Slardar just stuck in the trees. It was so sad. Like, if he wasn't stuck there, that was just 2 deaths for
You
Tinker
just got
straight
me
off the
stuck
bat.
thinking about that fish now. I have to Google it.
Okay.
Send it your way.
Dire's bottom
Thanks.
tower is under
But yeah, Slardar, it's just one of those things, you know. Even Roshan respawns in OG's favor exactly the way, and then he blinks behind the trees. Sometimes there are games in which just nothing is working out your way. You're playing correctly, but
Oh no, they're
one
gonna show
misfortune
it.
after another.
I mean, for those of you that didn't catch it, you know, it's he just takes a step away here, BZM, and Yatoro's just like, oh. He's like, well, he's picking himself. He's like, guys,
Lane Amar.
oh, hold on, we're going on the Night Stalker here. There's a lot of damage being pumped into him. The Hand of God going to help him out, but not enough. Amar is gone. Amira, that is a deep jump from him. He's going to get lasered in the face. Kind of asking for that there as he tries to go looking for the +1, but accidentally finds +4. And that math equation didn't quite work out for him, so... Trade for a trade. I guess Team Spirit will take that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a better trade for Team Spirit, right?
Stupid.
Positioning based, but at the same time, Mira, he likes doing this, and most of the time he teams follow up. This time around, OG was just way too ready.
Voice lines himself as well, which I respect a lot.
Brave, brave but stupid. Yeah,
Love
It was
bit
a
of
nice
self-flame. It was. Alright, well, I mean, I guess we'll call that a neutral trade. Like, yes, it was a 3 for a 4, but the difference is minimal, and, you know, it was on OG's side of the map as well. I don't know, I mean, how do you envisage the next team fight looking? You know, what are both teams looking to achieve in these fights?
it's all about positioning for Team Spirit once again. Like literally, they just have to set up this perimeter around the SF and Bane, and protect this SF, turn him into this tower, this right-clicking machine. Top lane. They
Uh-oh,
got him
Mira's
again.
found him, dude. This Yules onto the Tinker is doing so much work. Yatoro's on something this time. There's no tree in the way. It's just him and the Tinker and the monkey.
Now the question is, are we going to see a team fight? Because Tinker, he bought back, remember? Like, he
Yeah,
doesn't
wow.
have it. That's 2 minutes without him.
seconds. Wow. Yep. It's OG's turn to play the mouse in this game of cat and mouse.
Like, they're really doing a great job catching Tinker.
Holy crap.
And that's mostly on Mira. But still, Mira catches him, follow-up is always there. I just love how fast they are at responding to each other's calls.
Moonshard Slardar. Here we go, friends. Here we go.
is under attack.
Look at that fish slap.
Radiant's middle tower has
Goodness
fallen.
gracious.
Some attack speed from the Moonshard, from the Midas as well.
Yeah, just some.
Just some, a little bit. Then you have SF as well hitting together with you. That damage.
Yeah. The building aura also helping out a ton here just to make these towers melt like butter. And they need to do something here, OG, or they're just going to lose a Rax. what can they do? They have no Tinker. 50 seconds. If they engage in a fight here, they might just get killed off. So, but Team Spirit aren't showing any signs. Look at Toronto Tokyo. He's just strutting up the high ground here. He's not even taking the lower path. Absolute baller move as the Roar comes in onto the line. They want to take down the support as quickly as possible. Their disarm is out though onto the Shadow Fiend. He can't attack him, which means he is going to be shoved down to the low ground. OG, they are not overcommitting to this, but they are defending their high ground somewhat. But they've already lost a lane of barracks. But 20 seconds till Tinker's back. It will remain just one lane gone.
Tokyo? They did think about going on him again, but this time around they opted not to. Like all these small little things, the way these two teams are fighting on the high ground, and the reasoning behind SF being where he is, like it all makes sense. It's okay. SF might have been a little bit too brave, sitting and walking through high ground. There was an option for him to go with his teammates, but everything afterwards that happened was so good. The way that they roared the Lion so that he can't follow up and bring SF to like 0, like from 50 to 0, was very important. And the fact that they didn't truly commit on SF because they knew he has Satanic, they just disarmed him after the initial stuns and moved away. Both of these teams exactly knowing just how far they can push the limits, and they don't go further.
Exactly. They both of the. It's a really good point that they just kind of hold these lines so steadily. You know, we saw Team Spirit do that perfectly against Team Tundra, just holding a very, very disciplined team fight in some of these games where they didn't necessarily have the team fight advantage. And here we're seeing a very similar thing, but this time from OG. When they know they're behind, they know exactly how much to commit and when not to overcommit. One thing to mention here is that the Weaver did just buy a Skadi, which is a huge item in this game, but it does mean he doesn't have buybacks, so got to be careful in the next fight.
He doesn't have it, and also the Tinker, right? Like the Tinker went for Ghost Scepter. He has had that Aghanim's for a while now, so both of these cores do not have buybacks. Night Stalker does have one, but that's about it. Team Spirit is in a perfect position to take this fight.
Let's see how this one goes down.
Oh, Miposhka.
Yeah, let's see him. Hey, buddy, how's it going? This is a great pick-off for OG, but Team Spirit are actually coming in from behind. A couple of right clicks thrown the way of the Night Stalker from Toronto Tokyo as he's taken to the front lines. Disarm is out, though. Yuragi's on top of him. Dealing with the ward first, now turning to dealing with the hero. So you can see the priority here of Toronto Tokyo holding his ground with that BKB, but Yuragi has found Mirror as well. The arena not protecting him at all, really. And it is going to be Team Spirit who have to back themselves out from this one. I don't think there's a play potential here.
Collapse.
Hello, Collapse. Oh dear. Yeah, he's being beaten in here. Yuragi, Tiger, everyone gets on top of him, and the Beastmaster will fall. OG take a convincing team fight.
From the buybacks, we have Miposhka using his and Tiger using his. But besides that, everyone else is kind of fine. It's a convincing victory because of the Beastmaster kill, but it's not the biggest win for OG there. I still feel like it could have went so much better for them if they caught SF with the Lion, but that was prevented by the Slardar, who just constantly knows the right targets and goes for them.
What a treat this series has been. What a treat. I'm so glad. I mean, there was a chance after that first game especially where we kind of felt like OG were just gonna, you know, flop out of it a bit way, unfortunately, like Tundra did, but that is not happening. They are putting up an excellent fight here against the bosses that are Team Spirit. And for the first time in a while, the Team Spirit streak is being threatened. 9 series in a row.
One problem that Team Spirit is having, well, they're trying to fix it by smoking up. They understand that Rosh should be up in the next couple of seconds. It's actually respawning right now, but they already smoked up. They didn't even wait for the Beastmaster. They need this outpost, though.
Yeah, they're gonna know. There is no subtlety to this whatsoever, because Roshan, he is a tiny little Roshan baby, but once again, Mirror's in with the Yules onto the Tinker. Toronto Tokyo is atop them as well as Yatoro. They're just plowing into the Tinker. He's gone, but buyback immediately. BZM knows he needs to be in this fight. This Roshan is everything as they have to grip out onto Amar on the high ground, but they need to take him out. The damage killers, they're not there because they're being shredded by Yuragi as they bring down Toronto Tokyo in response. He has the buyback on the Shadow Fiend. Is he going to use it to defend this Roshan? Otherwise, it will belong to OG.
It looks like that he doesn't even have to. They're not really... Okay, he actually uses the buyback.
Yeah, they see the opportunity now, don't they? There's creeps in the OG base. They need to deal with this.
Exactly, they saw the Tinker TP base, TP home, but he can come back very easily.
Too quick, it's too quick, but Lion jumps in, tries to do something there. I don't know if he got anything from that. I don't think so. It looks like it's all in the hands of Team Spirit, and now this could just go horribly wrong. OG trying to fight here, but the Tinker's on the front lines. That's not a sentence you want to be saying as OG BCM's going to lose his life. They find the Tinker, no buyback on him. Amar trying to fight up into this one as well. I mean, he's punching away at Mira. Uragi, he needs a miracle now, and right now he's just getting punched in the face instead. He backs himself up. Amar, though, is being beaten by Yatoro. The attack speed Slardar just coming in and slaying him down. Uragi trying to fight up, but it feels like it's one man versus the world. Buyback is available. Amar, he's going to have to use it here. He has no choice. Uragi trying to fight up into the entirety of Team Spirit,
Protection.
but it just doesn't seem possible. BKB out from Uragi, but now they keep on chasing him down, and the Roar is there as well. They're going to take down the Weaver. Buyback out once again. They need to try and hold here, but it's 3
GG.
versus 5, and they are just going to call it there. No more fight left in the side of OG. The series will go to Team Spirit. Their streak remains now at 10 series in a row for the TI champions. They take down OG 2-1.
Damn, what a series. What 3 games we just witnessed. Like the first one, all right, it was, you know, a shellacking, like some like to call it, but these second 2 games were just so on point. I just love the strategical aspects from them. In the second game, perhaps a little bit more than in the last one, but the team fights in the last one were on point. I just love the fact that Team Spirit also realized what OGs are best at, and it's this Night Stalker jumping the backlines and eliminating the supports. So they drafted heroes that just stick together, right? They move as one unit, and then you can't go in. You can't go onto the Bane, onto the SF when you have minus 30 armor and you're also being hit by everyone. Still, this last fight from OG, I'm not sure. Like the Tinker shows mid lane, you aren't like at risk of losing anything on that mid lane, right? It's only the creeps hitting pretty much some useless buildings. It wasn't the Rexes or anything. And because of that, Lion is forced to kind of jump in first. They don't have vision, and they get heavily punished for it.
Yeah, for me, the MVP of that game has to be Mira on the Monkey King, honestly. He caught out that Tinker so many times. Yules was a perfect dynam that game, just delaying the Tinker, allowing his team to get nearby. You know, mostly Yatoro was the one teaming up with him, just jumping in and smashing that Tinker to bits. I mean, he just gave him an absolute headache. Maposhka as well, you know, the difference from game 2 to game 3 was awesome to see. Like, he was able to just completely eviscerate this poor old Night Stalker, which gave him so much trouble in the second game. I mean, Team Spirit, you know, they just step it up, and that is what they do, and that is why they're currently the best team in the world. And now we'll throw it over to our panel to break down the game even further. Over to you, Dan and the gang.
Well, I just came back from my lunch to find out that Team Spirit had also had theirs, but instead of an egg bagel, they had OG's Tinker, absolutely devouring that hero. Black, talk me through what happened in that game.
Well, it was a combination of both BZM being way too confident in his abilities and Mira just always being at the right position. Like, I think if Mira doesn't play as flawless as he has, I don't see a way that OG loses this game. He caught up the Tinker, I don't know, like 5-6 times every team fight. They won on the back of him. Like seriously. Like, I don't know how he always found him, but yeah, like I was super afraid of the Tinker. For a good reason, because they don't really have a good backline jump at all. But like, who needs that if Mira is just a wonder boy?
Mm-hmm. Do you also believe in miracles, Bcop?
Yeah, I do believe in miracles. The U.S. team in 1980 did it once, and we see it every now and then. And here, it was just Mira was so good in this game, and like you said, Black, in finding this Tinker, and Tinker who had a great start thanks to Misha, who stacked so many times for this Tinker, giving him such a good jumping off point. And even with that jumping off point, Mira was able to make sure that his team had a way back in to stop this Tinker from really taking over. Because there were a couple times where early on it looked like it was the Tinker Night Stalker combo that was really going to be an issue when they're diving the tier 2 tower to get Toronto Tokyo and blow him up, where Amar is just chasing down Toronto Tokyo and being just the vision that BZM needs to throw rockets his way. Like, it was definitely scary at one point, but Mira definitely really kept it together for them.
I want to talk about the Slardar on your Toro as well. It's another unusual carry pick we've had this series. 11-12, 11-2-12. Pretty domineering from him. Were you impressed by that, Black?
I mean, the way it ended up being played, of course, it looked very, very awesome and flashy. Ended up 12-2. But I do have to admit that I'm still, after this game, I'm not convinced that it's like the greatest carry pick, at least not in a match like this. Simply because, like, he wasn't supposed to have as much impact as he did. But I really just want to double down on, like, Mira finding all these openings means that the only hard counter to Slaughter this game, which is the Tinker, was taken out every time immediately. So Slaughter had a complete free reign in every team fight.
I think it's worth praising OG a little bit here. This was a relatively close fought game. They came off a good game 2 performance. It's a good performance by the young squad. Wouldn't you agree, B-Cop?
Yeah, I think this is not turning it around from game 1, like to not get so discouraged. And because I think if they lose game 2 in the same way they lose game 1, that's almost so bad for the mentality there, where you're just like wondering, can we even? It does make you question everything, right? You get beat up pretty hard by a Team Spirit that has won TI. Maybe that's mentally defeating, but they come back game 2. They play really well in that game 2, and I think there's a lot of things that you can take away from this game number 3 that did look good, where it's like, hey, we took a game off the TI champions right now, and we're a squad that is still being underestimated. We're a squad that's still super young and a lot to learn. That's confidence boosting, and your best advancements come from your biggest losses. And you have guys who are fighters, their biggest learning points come from fighters that are fights that they lose. And this is a losing match, but a learning one that's going to be important for them moving forward.
And they're not out yet, right? Still a lower bracket to go for them. So
yeah,
let's see if they can apply everything they learned here. Because as you said, playing against the best teams in the world is really just how you learn, so just that much faster.
Okay, well, OG are going to be dropping down to the lower bracket and Team Spirits will be going straight up to that upper bracket final. But we don't want any of you viewers to go anywhere because we've got more great Dota ahead with Nigma Galaxy versus Team Secret and EU Titans mashup coming right next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.